So, good evening. Welcome to episode 7
Yeah.
of the Orrery. I'm Paint with Penny, and I'm so glad to be back. And that's Horlicks.
Hello. How is
So,
it?
what have you been up to?
Not a lot, really. I've been busy editing videos today. Had a bit of drama with Carl's car.
Oh,
The neighbour had someone out to trim their lawn, which was like a forest. And next minute, there's a knock on the door saying, "I've accidentally smashed your car window." And one of the rocks flew off the strimmer and smashed Carl's new car's window. So I had to deal with that today, and
is that
I've
very
taped
much helpful?
I've taped it up now, and he's paid for a window. So we've ordered one on eBay.
Right. Okay. So that's going to be quite simple to sort out then.
Yeah, and that's about it, really. And been researching the new project as well.
Lovely. So, I was right. The plan, I've kind of mucked things up a little bit. I still haven't done the tube bender. So, I will be bending we might be bending a tube. What the plan is, we're going to design the tube bender. So, it'll be a little bit of a lesson in Tinkercad. We'll then go through the planets. We'll then have a look at the next project that we're going to do. We think this one is going to be finished within 4 weeks. So we're then going to look at next project. The reason being is there's quite a lot of parts that we need to order. And if you're going to follow along and you need to buy those parts, we're suggesting sorry, I'll start again. Right. All of our prices are suggested, what we've managed to find. You might find cheaper, you might find more expensive, but we bought most of our parts from Banggood. And the problem with Banggood is you're paying like 25% of the price, but it's taken 3 or 4 weeks to come. So basically, to keep everything under control, we've set a load of rules. The first one being that we will introduce any physical parts you need to buy 4 weeks before you need it. Printed parts will be done at least 1 week, because obviously you can print within a week. It is going to be an expensive project, but I think it's going to come out at roughly a tenner a week, maybe a bit more. What we're going to give it a budget of £15 a week, but we're going to spend up to £20 a week. But we're going to carry our budget every week, and we're never going to go more than £10 over budget. So if we go £20 a week for the first 2 weeks, we're now £10 over budget. So we need to bring that down so we can spend no more than no more than 15 quid, because that's £10, but it'll kind of make sense. So we'll show you the new project towards the end of the show, or a bit later on in the show, sorry. We'll show you the parts that you need to complete week 1, which unfortunately is quite a few, but we've got a lot of parts where, for example, a bag of screws. You need a screw, so you'll go out and buy a bag of screws. Then you've got all those screws left over for later on in the build. So, excuse me, sorry. So what will happen is later on in the build, we might say, for example, you need an M3 12mm bolt. The cost of that will then be 0, because you've got like 40 screws left over from earlier on in the build. So let's and then once we've introduced that build, hopefully Horlicks will have printed off the tube bender, and we hope to bend at least 1 tube. I've got a couple of theories on how to bend, and hopefully we'll get at least 1 done. And we'll look at the planets. If I haven't already mentioned this, we'll look at the planets. We've actually printed them off, but we'll show you on Cura. We'll show you the parts in real life, and obviously once we've bent the tubes, we can then put the planets on and then figure out how we're going to do the rest of it. Sorry, my phone's just complained to me, so I'm just going to pop that on charge. Right, so shall we go into Tinkercad?
Yeah.
So I need a favor from you then. I need you to get sorry, I'll tell you a little story. I'll tell you why I am a bit shook up. On my last trip tonight, I'm driving along, minding my own business as you always do. Car coming the other way, and I see this passenger's arm come out, and he threw a bottle at my bus, and it hit my bus and smashed, and it's kind of shook me up because I kind of play the what if games, and one of the big what ifs going through my head is I've driven 5 different buses today. The first 4 buses all day long, even with the pouring down rain. The last trip I changed buses, and for some unknown reason I had that window shut, and with that bottle hitting the bus, I'm not trying to dramatize anything, things haven't happened and things have happened, but I think that would have showered the inside of my bus if I'd had the window open. And I'm playing the what ifs, and I'd probably have ended up going to hospital or something, and I'd have been showered in glass, and it's wound me up actually. But so if I'm a little bit all over the place, you know why. Right, so so what I'm asking you to do, Horlicks, is so that I don't have to keep referring to things. When I ask you I need you to be looking at the tube, the pictures of every single tube on 1 A4 piece of paper.
Yeah.
Because I'm asking you for measurements.
What, do you need it on screen or?
No. Just call them out. So yeah, no, Chris Davies, I'm absolutely fine. Do you want to just pick up the comments now before they get too big, or should we go straight into Tinkercad? We will ignore everybody.
Yeah, just hello to Caldecott Bus Spotters. How are you? Adrian Langley, hello. How are you? Fleetwood's here. Hello. Hope you're well.
They're mostly just hellos, but I want to get everyone's name on stream at some point. So these in no particular order. We've got Adrian Langley. We've got Chris Davies. Is that a new picture, Chris? I'm sure that's different. And
No.
Dave Milne, his mysterious default picture. Steve Graham's popped on. Hello, I love that robot. Love Minis says hi, and I think Chris Davies, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. And Steve Graham says understandable, Penny. So yeah, don't dwell on it. The bottom line is I'm fine, and I'll be back in work on Monday. Yeah, so everything's fine. So let me just I've actually forgotten what to do. There we go. Right, share screen. So Chrome tab, Tinkercad. So that should give us Tinkercad, which it does. So I'll go full screen on Tinkercad. So let's design this tube builder. So we'll create new design. So we've got 2 tube benders we need, don't we? One is for, let me find my pen. Okay, what's the radius of the first one?
Okay, what do you want to do first, big or small?
Either one, either or.
Right, well, first one I'm seeing is a radius of 12.
12 millimeters. And what tube is that for? 3 mil?
Yeah, 0.3, yeah.
And the other one is for the tube 2 millimeter, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that, I believe, is how much?
That's a radius of 5.
5. Right, so first thing we obviously need to take into account is a radius. Which one do you want to do first? The 3 mil?
Yeah, if you want. Yeah, there's more of them. So,
right, for some reason, there we go. I don't know why, but this isn't firing up. So, right, so I've got my bottle of Pepsi at the ready. I've got my cigarettes, and I've got no food. Oh, hang on a second. I've got some sweets left over from yesterday.
We got sweets.
Oh, yeah. I'll tell you what happened. I bought some sweets to munch on Adrian's show yesterday. and they're 4 bags for £1. And I put 2 ready for the show, and 2 I was going to munch in bed, watching telly after the show. And I literally just got into bed and just zonk, I'm out. So they haven't been eaten. So for some reason, this Tinkercad isn't loading up. So
that's a very good suggestion, actually, Love Minis. Well, we can't now because we've bought the rods, but Love Minis suggested, why didn't we print the rods for the planets?
yeah, I've actually thought of that, because we can do exactly the right radius then. But yeah, and that, to be honest with you, it'll be a little bit of a, do you know what? Oh, there we go.
I think it's more for the looks of the project. I think it'll look much nicer done in grass.
But I wonder, I mean, one thing I was thinking of before was if we printed the rod off, and do you know what? I'm going to just give up on that one.
I'm just going to see if it's working my end, just in case it's a website problem.
That's a fair comment, yeah. It's probably my computer problem. I should have actually loaded this up beforehand.
Yeah, it works okay this end.
Yeah, well, you've got a supercomputer, haven't you? Compared to mine, anyway.
No, I just wanted to check the website wasn't down.
Yeah. Mine is, by comparison, mine is like the old 1980s BBC. Does anyone remember the old BBC computers?
Yeah, BBC Micro.
Yeah. What did they have? About 16K of memory, didn't it?
If that.
Yeah. Right. I don't know what's happening here. Maybe if I close, maybe if I do a reboot, I don't know.
How many tabs have you got open today?
Only about 200 today.
Right, that could be why. Is there any you can sacrifice?
No. Not really. Right, how good are you talking, Horlicks?
I don't know. I can talk about the DeLorean, I suppose.
Right, okay. Do you want to talk about the DeLorean? I'm going to reboot my PC, see if that makes any difference, because I know I can come out of the stream and reclaim it.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so I'll come back in about 2 years when my computer reboots.
Okay.
All right. Show is all yours.
Are you going to change the screen?
Hang on. Oh, yeah, I'm going to stop. Oh, yeah. Good point. Thankfully, my close down didn't work. Right, so hopefully that'll leave you like that. Okay, so show's all yours, Horlicks.
Right, so yeah, just a little update. I know it's not really to do with the Orrery, but the DeLorean is finished. I filmed the last 4 issues today. I've got one more to do, so you're having a sneak preview. Those that are watching this evening, that is finished, and I'm relieved. I mean, it's not going to be like the Route Master. It's going to be quite sad because there's a lot more involved with the Route Master, isn't there? We've got the Wednesday show and everything that goes with it. For me, the DeLorean I'm doing it on my own, just filming it and uploading the content. So it's not as interactive. So, but I'm actually quite pleased that it's finished. Because it was starting to wind me up, if I'm honest. I don't know why. I think it's just the delays with the magazines coming through, the stupid amount of parts in the later issues. Like, you'd get one small little item and then that was it for a week, So I'm really pleased. I'm saving some money now because that is now done. So I filmed it today. So you might have already seen one of my videos went up today, and then there's another one only for you that are watching tonight. No one knows, but the other one will be live tomorrow at 12 p.m. in the afternoon, midday. And then I've got one more to do, but and that's it. So yeah. And I don't know where we were caught up with the Orrery last time. Obviously, I had to. Oh, I think I did mention it. I had to reprint my base, but this is all what I've got so far. Everything works. I've glued the base in because these were falling out, and I've done a little bit of, you know what I'm like. I've done some neat cable management, so I've cable tied the wire there because I wanted it to be secure because I didn't want it to pull out from the motor. So I've cable tied the wire off one of the legs, and then inside I've put a generous helping of hot glue to keep that in place. And yeah, so that's as far as I've got to anyway, and this is all working. So obviously I've still got a wobbly sun, but it doesn't bother me. And I realise because of the motors and the way it works, if I turn this manually, it actually turns the LED on without it being plugged in. But it's because like the motor's a generator, isn't it? So I think you can use it as like a dynamo or dynamo. So I think that's how it works. Used to have on the old push bikes, used to fit one of these, and there was like a rubber wheel that went on your tire, and as you pedalled at night, it made your front light come on. So yeah, just something I noticed when I was playing with it the other day.
Well, I was very glad to say I had my spare PC with the volume turned up because some interesting stuff there and interesting comments.
How are you going then? Have you all loaded up?
It's all loaded up. So, do you want to proceed?
Let's go.
Let's proceed. Right, so I'm glad this has come up because now you can't see me smoking. Right, so we are building a 12mm radius, 3mm tube bender. So radius is half a circle, if I remember correctly. So we need to start off with a circle that is twice the size. So we just grab cylinder and we will make that. Oh, hang on. Right. Just make sure you can see it. Right. Down near the bottom, you've got snap grid. And I've got that set to 1mm. Everything I'm going to use is going to be round millimeters. If I wanted anything smaller, I could change that to 0.1mm, and I can make the grid up to 5mm. I don't know what brick is, but see there, what that means is that when I move this, I can't move it like 1mm. It'll move in blocks of 5. So I actually want 1mm. So now when I move it, you see I can move it in intervals of 1mm. And what I'm going to do, just to make my life a bit easier, I'm going to zoom in on that. So because I'm dealing with 12mm, I need to double this. Let me just move that up a bit. So I need a circle of 24mm. So 24 by 24. There we go. So that's a circle of 24 by 24. And because we're bending 3mm tubes, we want to just bring the height down to 3mm. Simple as that. Right. I'm going to also move this up 3mm. We can move that up as much as we want, but I'll explain why in a moment. So that at the moment is a floating disc. That's going to be the middle. So next I want another cylinder, and we want that to be 3mm wider than the actual bending bit. So That means to get that 3mm wider, we actually need to make it 6mm wider. So there is the original tube. So 6mm, we want that 30 by 30. If I'm going too quick, just say, and I will re-explain things. Another way to resize these, I'm dragging and moving it around, but another way to do it is to double click on the measurements and just click on them and it changes it. I spotted a new trick the other day, and you can actually center objects on objects, but I can't remember how to do that. So I want that to be as thick as I want, because this is just going to be a border. So let's make it 3, shall we? So there's my object. Now I'm going to need 2 of those. I'm basically going to make an Oreo, like a little cookie with cream in it, where this is going to be the cookie and this is going to be the cream. So I actually want 2 of those. So I'm going to, can I do it that way? Right. So I do shortcuts a lot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go Control C, which means copy, and then Control V. And you see I've made another one. And then I'm going to push that up. I'll leave the height. Right. So this one, the original disc, we need to place that exactly in the middle. And the way I do it is I bring it up and then I move it across with my keyboard across. So that's level 1, 2, 3. So now we've got a disc. We've got a 3mm groove around it. And then, so this object is 3mm tall. This one is 3mm tall. Yeah. So we need to raise this one off the ground by 6. And then that needs to go exactly over the first one. Like, why does that not seem to fit? That's odd. So 30 by 30. Why is that not? Oh, that is. It's just the optical illusion. So we'll just rotate that around. Make sure we've got it level, which I can see we haven't. No, actually, another way to check it is to actually move it. If we move it down, it should hide up that disc, which it does. So we'll bring that up to 6. So now you can see the curve that we've got on to bend the pipe. So what we now want to do is we want to cut. Oh, hang on, another thing. Sorry. If I click on one object and then shift click on the others, and there's a button here, and this is group. So what that will do is that will turn that into one object. And I think that hasn't grouped them.
Oh, I wish we had a food printer, because that looks like a crunch cream.
Yeah. Let me do that this way.
God, imagine if you could print off your own snacks.
Why can't I group that? Is there a select all? I'm actually struggling here. Oh, hang on. Isn't there a... There we go. Select all. Right, so we'll... Oh, maybe that is actually... Yeah, there you go. That has been grouped already. So that is one object. So what I want to do now is... I want to cut that into a quarter circle. So if I... Sorry, I didn't want to do a solid box. I want to do a transparent box. So that is got a width of 20, isn't it? 26? Is that right? I thought it had a width of 30, which it does. Right, so that's not right, is it? Ah, there we go. Right. So we know that's got a width of 30. So we change that to 15. And we can cut that in half. And then what we'll do is we'll group those two objects together. And what happens when you merge a transparent object with a solid object? You get half an object. And then what we will do is we will do that again, but focusing on the other side. So, right, that's obviously not. Something's gone wrong here. Oh, I see what's happened, right. So that should totally engulf the object. Right, so then we'll change the box to a width of 15. Make sure it fully covers it. Merge the two items and group them. So that's going to be, that should be a 3mm gap through the middle there with a radius of 12mm. So now for the hard bit, possibly. We now need to extend that so that we've got a straight line on both sides. So what I'll do is I will extend that. Should we call it 30?
Yeah, sounds reasonable.
It can be as short or long as you want, right? And then we will merge those items together. So that's now going to give us an extension. So then I want to do it again. But remember, the middle layer has to go in 3mm. 1, 2, 3. Do you see now why that snap grid is important to me?
You make it look so easy, but I know it's not, because I've tried playing with this, and it can be quite difficult to get the.
To be honest with you, it's practice, right? This one needs to be 6mm, or you can make it 3mm and bring it up. But because we're going to merge everything together, it really doesn't make any difference. So I'm going to merge those two items together, and that should now be one object. Now this one is going to be the same as the first one, except that we want to preserve that little gap. So I am going to do this one properly. I'm going to make it a height of 3, and I'm just going to raise it off the ground 6mm. And that should theoretically merge. There we go. So that's one side of our object done. And for some reason, that doesn't look solid. Why does that look solid?
There's a gap, isn't there?
Yeah, I don't think it'll make a difference, though. Right, I'm not going to worry about it. It's not going to make a difference. Right, so now what I want to do is do the same again on this side. Do you remember how the length? Well, we can have this length as long as you want. Let's go 10 on this one, shall we? The larger you make this, the longer it's going to take to print, but the easier it will be to bend the pipes. So that's the bottom bit done. So I'll do this one slightly differently. I'll actually make this 3mm tall. Actually, let's raise it off the ground first. Raise it 3mm, and then we'll make it 3mm tall. And then we'll merge that in. And then we've got one more to do. So we know we want it 10mm. And then we want this one to be 6mm off the ground. Let's just, right, 6mm, and we want it to be 3mm tall. And then when we pull that into there, so I'm losing sight of it. So bring that out a bit and across, merge that in and group. So, and then all we need to do now is I want this to be square because we're going to be placing it in a vise. So what I'll do is I will just bring that. This bit doesn't need a pattern on it, but it just needs to be square with it. So bring that out to match that. And then bring the height down to match, so it'll be 9, won't it? Oops, didn't bring that out enough, did I, look? Just ungroup. Whoa! Right, so let's make that 29. Lovely. So we'll merge all that together. And then we've made one object. So what we're going to end up doing is we will clamp that in the vise like that, with the tube stuck through that little hole there, and then we can bend it around this bit here. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's good.
Right, so we're going to call this one, I'm going to call it 3mm tube, 12mm radius pipe bender. And what I'll do is I'll even try and spell it correctly as well. Okay. Now we don't need to save anything in Tinkercad. It automatically saves it for us.
So can I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
If you can send that to me,
That's exactly what I'm planning on doing.
I can quickly go through my Cura settings.
Yeah.
So
just going to be a little bit anal. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make 3 little things of 3mm. I'm just in case, I'm just going to cover those lines up at least a little bit. So it'd be easy to do. What I do is I make 3 little bits 3mm tall, and then I copy that and paste it twice. So one we will place in there and then merge with the object. Except we won't do it that way because it needs to be moved across one. Oh, do you know what? That doesn't actually matter, does it? Because it's... Oh. Okay, let's... No, do you know what? I'm not going to do it. I think we'll be all right. I think what it'll do is create a gap in the actual object, but all of that inside bit, if we go right inside, you can actually go into an object. I think you'll find it'll be joined. Yeah, like this. Oh, what's that? That's interesting. We've cut a hole. That can't be right. We cut a hole inside? No. No. Okay, right. Let's give it a try. So, right. So I go into recent designs. I don't want to know, does it? We are struggling here, aren't we? Right, let's cancel that. Oh, hang on. Yeah, we export. Sorry. Right, so I'm going to export as an STL. And then I'm going to show that in folder. Now, you probably can't see this now. Right, what I'm just going to quickly do is I'm going to just send that over to Horlicks. This should be so easy to do, and yet somehow I can't. Right, so There we go. Right. So it should be coming your way, Horlicks. So I will hand over to Horlicks, who's going to load up and show us.
Yeah, we can go through the settings. So those of you that don't, I mean, I know Penny's shown Cura quite a few times on her videos and on stream, but just going through a little bit about some of these settings quickly. So I have saved that, so I can open the file, and it should be, if I can find it, there.
This Davey says fast postage, LOL.
So
I would personally rotate that onto its side.
Yeah, I was just about to suggest that. So because
I'm a little bit uneasy with prints that are taller than they are wide. So you may, I know you won't, but I'm going to throw in my favorite suggestion, which is consider a brim or a helper disc.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I mean, I'm pretty confident with my printer because it sticks like, I can't even say, is it over 10 o'clock? Yeah, it sticks like shit to a blanket, my printer. Okay. So I'm happy. But yes, what you can do is, I was going to suggest that you select the model that you're going to be printing. So this is obviously my build plate, and this is where you can arrange all your files to print. So this original step before you send it to your printer is quite crucial. So if I was to print that like that as it is, you see underneath there, it's red. That means ignore the base, just that bit up there. Obviously, it's not.
You might want to just zoom in a little bit. That might help.
There you go. This red bit here is where basically when it starts the print, it's going to do this bottom bit absolutely fine, and then it will do this bit fine, but then here it will start printing in midair, so you'll end up with the filament just obviously not sticking to anything. So in that situation, depending on the model you're printing, you can add check this button here that says generate supports, which is actually on. I need to turn it off. And what that'll do is it will actually put some support in the gap. But I only try and use it when I have to, because Penny knows they can be a nightmare to rip off the print.
Yeah. And obviously it's going to take longer to print it because it's printing more. Yeah. It's more expensive because you're using more material. And did I say it takes longer to print?
Yeah. So it'll extend the print time, and as Penny said, yeah, and use more material. So for the purposes of this video, this is just a quick overview anyway. I need to move this. So there's some different options down the side in Cura. So you can move, which is move the whole thing in where it is. This is the scale. So if I wanted that half the size, I could type 50 in there, and it would make it half the size. But obviously Penny's made it to measurements, so we're going to keep it at 100. And then this button here is rotate. So you've got these rings, and that shows you which way you can rotate it. So if I drag the blue line, see, I can turn it round left and right. The green one, I can upend it. So I could print like that. And then last of all, so you guessed it, the red one will do it the other way. So I'm going to print mine like that, and Cura will automatically bring it to the bottom of the bed. So,
I'm just going to ask you a little favor. Can you just rotate that 15 degrees either side? I'll get to why in a minute. There's another option. I didn't discover this at first, but just so it's not quite flat on the bed.
Okay.
I think you know where I'm going on this, don't you? Right. So we've got a print there we can't quite get flat on the beds. Obviously, this one is easy to get flat, but sometimes you'll have parts that you can't quite find it. Maybe it needs to go 7.5 degrees. So if you click once on the part, just to select it, and then just hover over the button for move. That's it. Come across 2 icons. That is called lay flat. If you click that, it will automatically lay it flat for you. Like that. And it's such a useful... obviously, this part is really, really easy to lay flat because that's how I've designed it. But sometimes you may want to rotate it. You want to lay it... If you've got odd angles and you want to lay it flat, you use that. And it's really, really useful.
Also, what you can do... I can't think of any. I can't remember the example I had, but I actually did a print and I downloaded the file. I can't remember what it was, but when the creator designed it, it wasn't flat, but it grouped. It was like multiple things together. I can't remember what it was, but one part of it was not flat on the bed, but the rest of it was. So no matter how many times I made that flat, there was still a portion of the print up in the air. So what you can do in that scenario is you can actually move it, and you can I've just lost it.
Control Z, Control Z, Control Z.
You can drag this blue arrow and you can actually move it down, and that is okay to do. And what that'll do is it pushes it into the bed, as you can see, but it will only print from where it's touching the bed. So to get around that, for me, that's all I had to do. I just made it a bit lower into the bed, and then it made sure the whole bottom surface was flat. And for the particular project I was doing, that wasn't an issue. So yeah. And if you want to bring it back, you can just bring it back as high as you want and drop it, and it will put it back flat on your bed. So that is what Penny's just designed, and that is now ready to print. Now, decided to go that way. I think that's a really good idea. I am just going to quickly rotate that around. I want it like that. No, just my preference, really.
Yeah, I mean, once you got your own printer, you know how your printer behaves. You know, you might have the same printer as me, and you'll put things differently. But obviously, that rotate tool that comes in really handy if you're printing like 20 pieces.
Yeah.
And sometimes you'll get no space going one way on the X-axis, but tons of space on the Z-axis or Y-axis. So you just rotate it 90 degrees and squeeze it all in.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. I want to know how long it's going to take to print, because hopefully it'll take like half an hour or less.
So this is just a quick overview of the settings. So the layer height is basically the height of the layers, but obviously the bigger the layers, the quicker it will take to print. So
lower quality.
For this, do you think we'll get away with 0.3?
I was going to say, I think 0.3 will be fine. It will give you slightly choppy bits on the corner, but you're talking 12mm radius, so
yeah,
the pipe, you won't my words aren't coming out again. You won't bend the pipe to the exact shape of the print, so you won't get choppy bits in the pipe. So I think 0.3 will be perfect.
And this is quite a good example. Those of you that they're not used to QL and might want to get into it. If you put in a setting in wrong, like you see here, I've put 0. Now, it doesn't know what that is. So it's really good. So this is telling us, because it's gone red, that there's an error and it's not going to print like that. So you need to perhaps look at your settings. And the amber ones are warnings, I think, aren't they?
The way I always take it is red is it's not going to work, and orange means it may not work. Yeah.
So obviously I've put nothing in there. Obviously I haven't told it the layer height, so it doesn't know how to calculate it. So that's what that
basically is. All it's going to do now is rub the nozzle against the print. I've
Yeah.
been in bed 100 times.
Yeah. It won't even go to the printer, but yeah, that's what it would do if you could get it to the printer. So anyway, I'm going to change that to 0.3 because yeah, we want a rough print. If I was doing a really nice piece, I would do 0.1. That seems to do really good results for me, but this isn't got to look pretty, so I'm going to do 0.3. If you want it in the middle of the road, 0.2 is fine. Now the shell, personally, I mean, Penny knows a lot. To be honest, Penny knows a lot more about these walls, the shell, than I do. I never touch these. See, if you notice, if I change that to 0.2, it changes the values automatically. So I never really play with them. So that I don't really bother with. The infill is obviously how much.
I'm just going to stop you for a sec. Normally, we keep the wall and the top and the bottom layers to about 3. Let me just do a quick demo of what I mean by that, and then I'll explain why I'm sorry. Bear with me. Right. So when it prints, we're going to have a Pennycad moment. So when it prints, I'm struggling for scrap bits of paper. Right, I'll have to do 2 pictures at once. Right, so the first layer, say we're doing a square, it will print the square, right, and then it will fill that in, and that's a bottom layer. Then if you say you've got it set for three top and 3 bottom layers, the second layer, it will then put another layer on, fill all of that in. Third layer, fill that all in. Then subsequent layers, it will just put the infill in. So it might do that. And then it'll keep doing that until it gets to the third from last layer. And then it will then fill it all in. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what you'll end up with, if you now flip this over and it's a side view, if you took a cross section, you'll end up with 3 layers, then support material, and then 3 layers on the top, and obviously you'll have 3 layers on the side depending on the width. So you can see that you've got a certain amount of space in there. Now this particular part, we're going to be putting a lot of pressure on the top with the tube and around there, but not so much on the bottom. So I'm going to suggest you just increase the top layers. I don't think you need to do the bottom layers. So I would perhaps consider 5 layers on the top. You see how it's going to come out more like that?
Yeah.
I don't know if you're going to agree. And also a higher than usual infill.
Yeah.
It's going to make it a longer print. But if you take half an hour to print and then you break the part because of the pressure of the tube, compared to 45 minutes worth of printing, yeah. Otherwise, you're going to do 30 minutes and 45. You've got to reprint. So that's what I would consider. And I would consider at least 25% infill.
Yeah, I was just about to say something like that, 25 or 30. But so yeah, all right, I'll change the top layers to 5. Now the other thing is obviously the bottom layers. Yeah, there won't be much pressure, but don't forget it'll be going in a vise.
Yes.
So,
I mean, you can belt and braces do 5 top, 5 bottom, and 5 wall.
Okay, well, I'll put 5 in for the minute, and then we can look at the print time and we can adjust as necessary.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's a little overview of that. I mean, obviously these other things mean different things, but we can go more into depth with that, another time. So the infill is, as Penny said, the bit in the middle. So yeah, I'm going to change that to 25%. Now I've started. This is the infill pattern. Now you've got different patterns, and these obviously, well, what it says, they're different patterns of infill. Now I always used to use grid, but recently Penny's been using this cubic subdivision, and I actually really like that as well. Because of the way it prints, I do feel it gives it more strength.
It basically prints an 8-sided diamond, so you've got more strength from all directions.
Yeah.
Something like lines, for example, it'll give a lot of strength in one direction, but not an awful lot. It's like corrugated cardboard. The way that it's designed, it gives a lot of strength from top to bottom, but not that much strength on the side.
Yeah. Brilliant. Yeah, that's so I really like that now, because it does seem to make all my prints a lot stronger,
and it looks prettier as well.
It does, yeah, it does look pretty when it's printed in. Okay, so that's it really, and then the rest of it is sort of, this is dependent on your printer and the filament you use. So this is your printing temperature. Now obviously PLA ranges from 180 up to about 200, 210. Now it's really bizarre. It depends on what color you've got. The color can make a difference to the print temperature. The brand of PLA can depend on your print temperature. There's so many different things. So, you know, when you get a new filament, it's always good to sort of have a little practice with different settings before you print anything, because it's so different. I don't understand how or why, but it is. So some of my other filament, I have to print at 200, even though it's PLA, and I've got that's for, I think, the clear I've got, but the yellow I can get away with printing at 185 degrees. Anymore, it almost bubbles out of the nozzle like it's too hot. So yeah, that's something you'll have to play with your own printer. The build plate temperature, I've always had really good results at 50. I think PLA it's up to 70, but 50 seems to be the magic number for mine, and it makes everything stick. So I think for PLA,
we are chucking a lot of numbers and a lot of stats at you, and I know it's probably confusing, but it's one of those things. It's more practice than anything. Someone did make a comment on how I made the design look easy. To be honest with you, it's just practice. When I first used Tinkercad, I took probably 4 times longer to make an object half as complex.
Yeah.
So, sorry, I keep interrupting you. But...
No, that's all right. Anyway, so that's just based on your printer, the temperatures. That no one can really help with. I've tried looking up things, and everyone's different. Everyone's got different opinions. It depends on your filament. So for me, they can stay as they are. So I'm printing at 190 and 50. Retraction, I don't need to go into that. You always leave retraction on pretty much. There may be certain circumstances you may want to take that off, but we can go into that later on, can't we, when we're going through the other projects. So yeah, that normally stays on, and all that does is when the printer moves from one place to another, or if you've got two prints on the bed, and then obviously the printer will print one layer of one object and then it will jump over to the next, the printer will actually suck the filament back so it doesn't ooze all over the bed in between. So yeah, it does what it says it does. It retracts the filament when it doesn't need it, so it doesn't spill it everywhere. So yeah, that's what that is. That always stays on. Print speed, I actually had a lower print speed. I'm going to put mine to 50 and put the infill at 40.
Yeah, I tend to do a slightly lower infill as well, lower speed infill.
Yeah. So yeah, again, we can go through that later on. It's probably terribly confusing those that haven't seen this before, but it is really, once you've had a bit of practice, as Penny said, practice makes perfect, and you'll be a whiz at this in no time.
The majority of these settings you'll hardly ever change, only for specialized filaments. And what the only settings we tend to change is the layer height and the wall and the top and bottom layers. I hardly ever change anything else.
Yeah, because I've got a profile that I've made up for my nice settings, and if I find that I've changed some of these settings, when I come back into Cura, I can then change that, and it will take it back to my original settings. However, if you do have a print and you've had really good results and you've changed a load of settings and you can't remember, you can actually click this little star up here. No. Is it this one? No, sorry, the down. Right, yeah, you can actually click the down arrow and you can update the profile with the current settings, and that will just overwrite your profile with your new settings. So,
or you can create a profile.
Yeah, or you can create different profiles. Yeah, and that's about it, really. Enable print cooling. You really want that on, and there is some times you may turn that off, like if you're printing ABS. I think it's ABS or something, you have to turn that off or reduce the fan speed. But the fan will come on after the first layer. It won't come on the first layer because it needs time to adhere to the bed. So yeah, the fan will come on when it's done a 0.2 layer, which is pretty much one layer. But obviously for me, I've got a 0.3 layer height, so it'll probably do one and a bit before the fan comes on. And that's it. And then obviously you've got generate support. So if you need a model that you need support, which we'll go into in a later date, you can check that. And then that's about it. Adhesion, I've got skirt. That isn't really adhesion. All that does is prime my nozzle. I've got an Ultimaker, and what will happen is my nozzle actually comes over to this corner and deposits loads of filament down here before it goes off and prints. But I like to have a skirt because then I can see and make sure that it's printing okay and that the bed's level. That's my way of testing the bed's level, because it will go around the print and I can tell if the bed's level or not.
Yeah, and then while it's printing, you just sort of have a little pick at that skirt to see how easy it is to pull it off.
Yeah, you can do if you're
petty. I find 90% of printing, you it's all experience. So when it prints a skirt, you have a little pick. Now, when I first got the print, I really didn't know about that. And I was using brim a lot. And what I was trying to do was I used to just tap it gently with my little scraper. And if it came off with a gentle scrape, then I knew that it wasn't going to stick.
Yeah. Right. So, yeah, that's it. But there's different types. You've got, obviously, as Penny said, you've got a brim. That'll basically create a border around the bottom of your project. It will actually stick to your project as well. So it will go around, and then it just gives it a bit more surface area to stick to. Raft, it will actually print a raft and then print your project on the raft. It's very similar to a brim, except it's a bit more stronger at the bottom, or you've got none at all. So I did actually use a brim the other day for the first time, and it did me massive favor with a print I was having trouble with, and it seemed to fix it. So yeah, anyway, that's it. So that's the basic settings, although it probably doesn't seem very basic. So I can now see that's going to take 25 minutes.
Oh, brilliant. That means we'll be able to bend some tubes then.
Yeah, but if I go back and change the bottom layer back to 3, you can see it'll go down to 24 minutes.
To be honest with you, it would go 5, then it's only next minute,
so
isn't it?
For the sake of 1 minute, I'm not going to worry. I'm going to leave that at 5. And likewise, if I was to change this to 0.1 and make it a really nice, pretty print, that should probably go up to an hour. Yeah, it's going to take an hour because it's got to print more layers more slowly.
It's actually going to print 30% more layers.
Yeah, I think it's something like that. So yeah, so depending on how rough you want your print and how quick you want it, this is where all the settings come in. So that's 25 minutes. Again, last thing, again with the infill, if I put that back to 20, you'll see it reduce in time because it's got less to print. But again, it's only a minute. So they're just subtle little changes, but it can make a big difference if you're doing a bigger print. So I'm going to set that to print. And if I load up to print. Now, a lot of you probably won't have this. Well, if you've even got a printer yet, but we've got our printers connected to Octopi, which is a browser-based control unit so we can make our printers wireless, can't we? And it's absolutely
Love Mini. She's just come back. She's missed all the highly technical stuff, which I know she would understand.
Oh well, you can watch it back. Yeah, so now it's interesting. Cura said 25. This is saying 24. This isn't totally accurate. Sometimes it give or take a few minutes. So if you need to print something and you've only got 25 minutes to the second, be prepared to be a couple of minutes late because sometimes it does take a little bit longer because it sort of calculates it per layer, doesn't it? It's really weird.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm happy with that. So, I don't want to give anything away. There you go. Print that.
Have you actually sent it to it? Oh yeah, of course you have. Yeah, otherwise it wouldn't know, would it?
Yeah. So
ignore me on that one.
So this is it, really. So my printer's now warming up, and I know that because on this screen you can see that the bed's temperature has gone up here. So that's my actual.
Don't forget also, if you send that to print on a cold printer, you've got 24 minutes plus the time it takes to warm up.
Yeah. For some reason, my bed does take a little bit longer than maybe my heater's on the way out, but it sort of jumps up and down, and it goes slowly. But the nozzle goes up really quick.
Yeah.
So you can see the target is the light blue line up here, and then obviously this blue line is the bed getting up to temperature. As soon as it gets just about near temperature, it will then turn on the extruder, and then it will start warming that up, and then the printer should start going. So I've got a little webcam feed here.
Oh, sorry, I've accidentally removed you from the stream. There we go. That's better.
Charming.
Sorry. Right.
So I'm just a little trick I use. I don't do it all the time, but this is quite a small little print, so I actually use hairspray on the bed, and that will make it stick. It doesn't work for all printers.
You can also use glue sticks or masking tape, but
yes,
masking tape gets a bit expensive.
Yeah, I used to use masking tape, and I found that it would stick too well. And then when you take your print off, you've ripped all your masking tape up, and then you've got to reapply it. So yeah, it was getting quite.
I use good masking tape as an absolute last resort. I use that blue painter's tape. It's like £5 a roll. But if all other methods have failed, I'll stick some masking tape on. But some things require it. This nylon prints I'll be doing, and that doesn't stick to a glass bed, so you really do want masking tape.
Right, so now the bed's at temperature. It's now heating the nozzle up. And I say this is quite quick for me. Yeah, it's sort of.
It's quite quick, yeah.
It's going up in at tens normally.
Yeah. I find that the hotter it is, the faster it goes until it gets to almost temperature. There we go. That's shooting up now, isn't it?
And you probably won't see it on the camera. But hang on, when it So that's just about to start. So you'll see my print head move to the bottom left corner, and all that's going to do is purge the filament through. I'm actually doing this in orange because that's what was in the printer.
I wonder what you were printing last then, Horlicks.
I wonder. There you go. So you can see it's going to move down the front. You won't see it. Bed goes up. It's purging some filament out, so I'm just keeping an eye on that. That's coming through lovely. There you go. And now it's going to do the skirt. So all the skirt is just 2 runs round, and then it will start in the middle of that, and it will print the file. Let's see if we can adjust the camera up a bit.
It's filling in the first layer.
And that is actually really, really beautifully smooth. So I'm super happy with that.
Lovely.
Yeah, and that's it really. So that's the print. Obviously keep an eye on it for the first couple of layers. The first layer is the most crucial. Maybe watch it for 2 or 3, and if it's going down all right, for me, most cases I can then walk away and leave it. But
I think something like 90% of print failures occur because of the first layer.
Yeah. Or if you have misjudged how much filament you need and it runs dry halfway through.
Yeah.
I have had it once or twice, like on Wednesday night I was trying to print something and I was stressing because it was printing spaghetti in the air. And that was my fault because basically obviously I've got an Ultimaker, which is a fairly expensive printer. Now I only have to level the bed once a year. So
that's only because you only ever do 3 prints a year, though, wasn't
it? No, but no, it's a really good solid build plate on that printer, and it just doesn't need adjusting. It just prints and prints and prints over and over again. So, but it did sort of lose its level, and I think that's what it was, because it wasn't sticking to the bed properly. So I've done all my leveling now for the next year. It's a bit like an MOT. I've done it in MOT. I've changed the bearings because the bearings were rocking on it the other day. But yeah, no, that's it. So I'm happy with that. That's just going to print away. So I think we'll go back to Penny.
I want to watch this because I think we're on the 4th. We've done 5 layers is solid, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Right. We'll come back to that in a bit then. So while that's printing, I'm going to show you our next project.
Yes. Oh, don't forget about the bender though. We've still got one more to design, but we can do that next week or if you want. I don't know.
No problems. Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll do that towards the end we'll see what the viewers want.
Yeah.
Right. So this is the next project, which we hope we'll do in about 4 or 5 weeks, but obviously we want to finish the Orrery first. I'm just actually going to unshare that. No, I'm not, because I'm not going to play the sound. Right. So this is on mute, but it's not essential. Actually, what we're going to make is everything that you see on screen.
Yeah, okay. And I was just going to say, actually, go on.
No, you say first.
No, I was just going to say, I think this is going to be right up Fleetwood Street as well.
Yeah, I love it. I just can't wait.
I'm absolutely buzzing.
Here we go. So everything you see here is what we're gonna make, and it's decided to not play. Right, here we go. Ah, right, okay. Let me bring this in again. Right, okay. I'm obviously going to have problems with my computer today, aren't I? Right. So bear with me a sec. I'll just load it up on a different tab. And then I'll close down Tinkercad as well. So we'll give links to everything anyway. Right, so stop sharing. Share screen. I'm sorry about this, guys. Chrome tabs. It seems to like sharing a Chrome tab anyway. Right, so it's Mac Kit. Hang on. RC Open Tractor. It's called. Right. Sorry about this. I've now got to find it. Videos.
Okay.
Oh, that was it.
Just a little update. My print is failing.
Okay.
So I'm going to cancel it. I'm going to have to redo it. I think I'm going to have to do point 2.
Okay, then no problems. What actually happened with it then?
It's just not the layers are not. I think because it's so rough, the layers just aren't. They're not tight enough.
Okay, no worries. So it's going to take a bit longer, but okay. Well, shall I play the video while you're sorting that out?
Yeah. All I'm doing is changing the layer height to point 2, and then I'll resend it to the printer.
Brilliant. Okay, so this is the project that we hope to start in about 4 weeks' time, if it plays. So what do you think, guys? There are obviously I've not shown you all of the components in action, but we've got things like we've got a different sort of trailer. So let me just try and find it. I won't show all of this, but where is it? Here we go. Oh, we've got a little lifter. It's like a little forklift truck. So you can load things up. And the trailer that he's placing that onto, the little tail bit comes down. So let's see if I can find the one where they drive the track. There we go. So this one, this is actually the trailer that I'm most excited about. I just love that. So yeah, that is the project. So what do you guys think? That is going to be, can you make a tractor that plows snow? I don't see why not. I really can't, because we've got attachments on the front, we've got attachments on the back. You know, you're still on mute, don't you, Horlicks?
Yeah, I'm back.
What size are they? Shall we give anything away? Should I show the cab?
No, I could show him one of my freshly printed round things.
One of your freshly printed round things. Okay, if you want.
The big one or the smaller one?
Let's go for the big one, but just bear in mind it's not complete yet.
Yeah. So yeah, it's not complete, but this is one of the rear
wheels.
It's almost as big as my head.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's big.
Hello, Gordy. How are you? It is huge. It probably doesn't do it much justice how big it is, but I'm going to estimate it at about that big, which is probably about the length of my keyboard, roughly. We're still piecing things together. We've made like I'm going to call it a lesson plan. We made a little plan for the first 4 weeks. I'm estimating that it's going to be roughly 28 weeks. However, some parts are going to be, it's going to be like a part work. You'll get some weeks where there's so much to do, so much to buy. Some weeks there'll be hardly anything. Some weeks we've had to slow things down a bit. And what we've done is, where we're not spending that much money on, say, electrics, we're trying to bung in extra prints so that you get those over and done with. And the consequence of that is you may have prints sitting in your box for 5-10 weeks. But we're just trying to balance the costs out. To be honest with you give me the length of a trailer, of an actual tractor, and then I suppose I could work out the length. Well, I can't. We haven't even put any of it together. We've got no electronics yet. We've practiced stage 1 without the electronics. And the conclusion that we've come to is that this is so well designed. I don't think we've seen anything worse. The parts, do you want to get those 2 little parts out and show them how well designed it is, or do you not want to?
Which the ones I was showing you the other day?
The little silver rod bit and the little silver right angled bit.
Yeah, I was playing with it the other day. Yeah. So
there is no give at all. It's not difficult to put in, and there's hardly any play.
So this is one of the components. I believe it's going to be to do with the steering somehow.
Okay.
I don't know for sure. It might not be, but yeah, we've got these little right angle bits, and there's no sanding involved. That's just come straight off the printer.
No supports.
There you
And
go.
just give it a wiggle, see how much give there is. That's brilliant, isn't it? That is fantastic.
But it goes in and out so smoothly, both sides. There's no flaws with it at all. And I think what happens is a lot of, I'll say that, but some designers may have an idea of the sizes they need. So they think, right, I need to have a hole that's capable of fitting an M3 bolt through it. So they'll make the hole 3 mil, but they don't take into account that is the size. So they maybe give it an extra 0.5 mil or make it 4 mil, so it's easy enough for the screw to go through, if that makes sense. But yeah, that's the quality of the parts we're dealing with.
Yeah, they are I cannot fault anything. And it's designed, the whole thing is designed to be printed with no supports. I have used supports on some of it, but after I printed it, I've just gone, I don't know why I use supports.
Can I show off one more bit?
Of course you can, show whatever you want. I am going to show off my cabin.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, guess who's been playing with his new pens?
So yeah, I did that, and I had to use the chrome pen, and it's absolutely amazing. And that just makes it pop, doesn't it? I wasn't going to do that, but I thought, you know what, I am. So yeah, that's I have got a bag of stuff here, but that's what you're seeing.
I'm just going to bring this comment up from Gordy. He says, you guys are so getting me into model making. I'm just loving this hobby. Never done this kind of stuff before. What our aim was, obviously we're doing the part works, and primarily we're part work builders, and they're great. Love them. But we do whatever someone else tells us is available. You know, people mention all these various part works and they don't exist. So we can't do them. As simple as that. Also, I think if you control, I don't know if Horlicks will agree, but if you control it properly, 3D printing doesn't need to be expensive. Okay, Horlicks has got £1,000 3D printer, and his results is coming out better than mine any day of the week. You know, he can do his rough settings and they'll probably come out better than mine. But I've got a £150 printer and I'm getting good enough results. So
I disagree with that anyway. Your printer's amazing. I want one of them. I think for what it is and the cost.
For what it is, it's brilliant.
You're getting amazing results.
I'll be honest with you, Horlicks. Your printer is better quality when you go for it. Penny for quality, I think mine's better. For the amount for the quality you get for the money.
Look at the issue with the wheel. I had my printer didn't like that, but yours no problems at all.
It was all right. It was acceptable. But yeah, I see what you're saying. Right, I'm going to show this off. This is an optional extra, and we're going to put it into the build because it requires no. It's printed parts only and screws, and I think we can get away with some of the printed parts not being printed. But this is the cab, so this is the bit that's going to come down the front. This is where the guy's going to sit. So actually, let's do
Mr. Concept.
That's a little old lady sitting in the cab. So there you go. Does that give you a rough idea? I would say she's too small for that. So I would say that's bigger. You got some supports in here. He's put supports built in. As you see, I've snapped one out and I've snapped one there. And this one, I'm keeping that in because I want to snap them out on stream. But yeah, if she was sitting in, she'd be something like that. So I would say she's a little bit too small. So maybe
that puts it into perspective, doesn't it?
It's the first time I've seen this like this.
You Mrs. Smallbone.
Mrs. Smallbone, yeah. We love her.
Well, she is small in that.
Yeah. But yeah, thanks to Gordy, we love her, don't we?
Yeah.
In fact, I think she's my favourite character, all because of Gordy. So yeah, there's your perspective, and I know it does. Oh, actually, no. No. Oh, no. Right. That's all I can really give you for size wise. So what do you reckon? 1 to 10 scale, maybe? But this makes her look like Mrs. Small Bone.
Yeah.
Right. So if anybody, right. We this isn't something we plan to talk about, but I'm going to bring it up, Horlicks. Right. Oh, you're talking about the part works. Yeah, we were aiming. Obviously, anything you don't, if you want something but it doesn't exist in the part works, you can't have it. Also, this bus, for example, beautiful model, cannot fault it. It's best thing I've ever done, but it's 1 to 12 scale. What if you wanted a 1 to 6 scale? Doesn't exist, does it? If you could 3D print that, you could scale everything up. You could have 1 to 1 scale if you want. I've seen a video of someone who's printed off a 1 to 1 scale of Jabba the Hutt, and it's big. So what we wanted to do was we wanted to kind of create our own part work. It takes a lot of planning. You know, this we're doing in stages. I know it's a little bit boring doing it in stages, but it makes it more cost effective. If I said to you this tractor costs 300 quid, a lot of people would go, oh, that's a lot of money. If I told you that it's £10 a week, hopefully you'll go, well, that's the cost of my part works. So the bit that I've just thought of it, and it's a real concern of ours. Obviously, we'd like to get you all out buying 3D printers and using them, and then you'll discover how easy it is once you got used to it. There is a learning curve. You won't switch the printer on and bang, it works. But for those that can't or won't have a 3D printer, we thought, yeah, we could print the parts off for people and send them to them. The drawback with that is that we can't spend all of our time printing parts off. And if we get too much uptake, we don't want to sell them at commercially viable prices. Otherwise, the price will skyrocket. So at a push, we may be able to do some, or maybe if there's people who've got 3D printers that can get on board and maybe help people out. And what I'd like to do is, what I'm thinking of price wise is maybe the cost of the print plus 10% plus the postage cost. Is that reasonable? I really am reluctant to take people on printing stuff because some of these take, like stage 1 takes about a day to print. So if I've got more than seven people, well, if I've got 8 or more people asking me for prints, not only can I not keep up with demand, but I'm not printing anything off myself. So
I think it was a really good idea, but I think the other problem was the electronic side of it, because
yeah,
I think they can rack up quite a lot, and it could be almost the same price as buying like what you've got.
Yeah.
I think that was one of the things. I mean, I think if you ordered from Banggood or something, you might be able to get everything fairly cheap.
Yeah, I mean, a word of warning, just the electronics is going to be, just for the tractor, is going to be about 150 quid. That includes the transmitter, the battery, and the battery charger. And obviously those parts you don't need to buy for each bit. I think the total cost of all the electronics is going to be roughly $250 maximum. But if we're buying them in advance, you know, we're not spending too much money.
And that's a total. So that is all the electronics for the actual main tractor. And then I think all of the accessories have also got parts in as well. Because everything is interactive. So it's not just the case of just that. So I think for the price and the enjoyment I mean, I am super buzzing about this build.
Yeah.
I think what's really made it that more exciting is just having a little play with the few parts I have got and seeing how easy everything is. There's no filing and that doesn't quite fit and let's jam that in and let's hit it with
I've had so little cleanup myself. I think I've printed a few more parts than you, haven't I?
I mean, look at the Orrery. I mean, last week it was hammer with penny because she was having to hammer everything in because the sizing wasn't quite there. This, I think, it's just going to be a doddle. Quite complex, some of it, but I think, it's good.
I wasn't going to show these off, but this is my worst part so far. Let me just change my view. I'm probably giving away too much, but hey, sod it. Right. So this is the worst part that I've got so far. I'm just going to nick your screen, Horlicks.
So that's fine. So sorry, just a quick update. My print is printing fine. My printer doesn't like 0.3 layer height all of a sudden.
Right. It's probably a snob and goes, no, we're not having 0.3. We're going to do it properly or we won't do it at all.
Yeah.
Right. So this is my tire. I printed it off on fairly normal settings, but this is a brand new filament that I've never used before. And the whole thing just fell apart. I had it on 0.3 layer height with 3 walls. So I went to the other extreme and I went 0.2 layer height, 10 walls, 10 height. It's rock solid and it's got this horrible seam line down there. But it works. Let me find. There we go. I'm not going to put that on, but I put this on last night. Can you tell my favorite color? I got it on. There's a little ridge inside. You can't really see it too well, but the actual wheels. I've lost a wheel. I haven't. Right. So you've got a little ridge in the middle of the wheel there. I'll hold it against something white. So you can just see that ridge. And then you've got a little rim on the end. And there is a tiny, tiny ridge on the inside of the tire. So you can get the tire. This is meant to be flexible. They're actually, in reality, they're about as hard as the Routemaster tires were. I've done the set because I got this one on. I did the same settings on this so that they're balanced. You know, if this weighs less, it might affect it. I don't know how things work, but it goes on fairly easy for the first half. And you push that first half in. Look at that. Look, I've not tested this print. I'm actually struggling there, so I have to cut that away. That will go in about halfway, and then I popped it in a vise and I squeezed it in and it went in perfectly, as you can see. Look, but I won't. Whoops, that won't come out. So I'm not going to put this one in, and I'm not going to try and take this one out unless I cut it. It's expensive filament, so I don't want to have to cut it out. Perhaps we could try warming it.
Yeah,
work.
Like we did with the Routemaster.
Yeah, but I'm thinking these are. I mean, look, you can see there's some squidge in it, but not a lot. But that's because I've done. Basically, it's that thick, solid on the inside. It's about 1/3, 2/3 solid, and the middle bit is hollow. And to be honest with you, this one has come out better than the first one. That's interesting, isn't it? Exactly the same file, exactly the same. But yeah, I might try hot water, but I want to print off my rear tires before start potentially damaging things. But
yeah, you can't say that don't whet your appetite. I mean, look at that. It's just everything is amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. So what I'll do then is I will go through. We've done a spreadsheet. I'll I'll show you the website. I'll tell you the website first, because I do like to promote. Is this it? That's the FAQ page, right?
Oh,
So
just,
if you
sorry, just quick,
sorry, go on.
just going to grab Chris's comment. Chris says, at Payment Penny and Horlicks, could I get one printed by any of you and I'll cover the cost? What are you referring to? The tractor or a printer?
Oh, I think he wants the parts. You'll still need you'll still need to buy the electronics. I might be able. Yeah, I mean, I can do one or two for people. But I mean, I can't do loads and loads of people. But let's discuss it later on, Chris.
Yeah, because obviously we're still doing it. We're still printing ourselves, actually. So, and there's certain things like the filament that Penny was just discussing, the flexible filament. Now that is really quite expensive because it's sort of specialist, and you don't get a lot on a roll. So we might not even have enough of that to do our own without thinking about taking on other ones at the moment. But we will obviously. We did already discuss that. So we are thinking about that. So yeah, we'll let you know.
I don't mind printing parts off for a few people, but obviously you appreciate if loads of people come up and say, "Can you print it for us?" I still need to print my own stuff. I still need to print off the rest of this tractor, and we're going to be printing this off for weeks, because what we're aiming to do, we're preparing you 4 weeks in advance. We actually want to be at least 4 weeks in advance of that so that we know the shows are going to work. Right. So let me give you this link. In fact, actually, I'll show you as well. Right. Stop screen, share screen, Chrome tab, open RC. Right. So just double check. Can you see that? Okay. So I'll chuck this this link in the comments. Please, even if you're not interested, just give it a look, because this guy has put so much effort. I don't think he's actually finished all the instructions and things, so we're kind of working round it. But where are we? Right, so this is the website. You can download the actual file. You've got build videos and you can watch it in action. But what he's got, and this is brilliant, he's got a spreadsheet. Now what we've done, the spreadsheet link is there, and it lists all the parts. Let me change to sorry about this. I need to be a bit slicker with this, but right. What we have done is we've modified his spreadsheet.
Quite heavily. Yeah, there's a lot of late nights, isn't there? Oh, we seem to have lost Penny briefly. Yeah, while she's absent, hopefully she'll be back in a sec. Yeah, so there's been quite a few late nights going through, as she was explaining about the spreadsheet. The spreadsheet that's been supplied is absolutely fantastic. Obviously, she sent you a link there. But we've sort of taken that and made it better and more for us, so we know what we're doing each week and stuff like that, which I think she's going to show you. And I know you can't see me either. Can everyone still hear me okay? Fleetwood, lost my internet back now. How long have you lost your how much have you missed, Fleetwood? Have you missed the whole unveiling of our new project? Okay, Fleetwood. So you've missed the whole unveiling of the new project. We showed you a little. The problem is I've got no control over this screen now, so I can't even show you the little video clip. But that's okay, Fleetwood, because you can rerun the bits you missed. But Penny's back.
Oh, you're gonna have to bear with me. I've just my Chrome just went mental, but I've lost all my tabs and everything. So I've got to try and find this now.
Fleetwood J's sulking because he lost his internet for half an hour.
So
he missed the whole unveiling of the new project.
I'm sorry, you're just going to have to view it all. Right. I'm just going to load up the spreadsheet and I'm loading up the web page. Right. So I will share the link to the spreadsheet. You guys will all be able to see it, but you won't be able to edit it. It is a work in progress. And I'll just explain some of it. Right, here we go. Tractor costs. Are you going to open? Right. My PC doesn't seem to really absolutely love me sharing screens, but I'm the boss, not my PC. But I've lost all of my open tabs. So, right. Okay. So, right. Share screen. So what we have got then is this spreadsheet. Let me find that link and I will just post that into the comments so you guys can have a look if you want. So you got the project right. So what we have tried to do is we've tried to divide it all. This is the instruction, so this won't make any sense. We've tried to do step-by-step instruction. So this is our little guide of how we're going to do things. Anything in green is an electronic part. Anything in yellow is a screw. And then all the rest is 3D printed parts. It tells you what color to print them in. So you got the upper chassis is going to be in black. And you've got the rough cost. This is purely dependent on your printer. And then you've got an instruction for what to do. So the upper chassis we print, we don't do anything with it. But what I've tried to do is, like, say, for example, if you need the front bridge or the rear axles, you might as well chuck a load of other stuff on the print bed and print it all in the same color. So you'll see some things in here that you go, well, why have they done it in that color? Most of the time it's what the author has done. I see people jumped in already and had a look.
I can see, yeah.
Yeah, right. So the next sheet we've got, we tried to, let me just check that's coming up. Just waiting for this show to catch up. I think that is going to catch up. All right, I'll just run without it. Right. So what we tried to do is we've translated these instructions into just a little list of what you need to get. So you see at week 1, this is a list of all the printed parts. Ignore the P's and the H's. We cross-reference what we've ordered and what we've got. So you'll see a lot of notes that are relevant to us. The middle section is the electronics that we need to buy. So we need to buy the differential and a pack of bearings. And then these are the screws and the fixings. So we need to buy M3 nuts and M3 16mm button head bolts. That's an absolute must. You need to get that 4 weeks in advance because you'll probably get them from Banggood. The printed parts, you only need a week in advance, at least. Now, the nuts, I'll be honest with you, I found them cheaper on eBay. I have a supplier that I use. You can find cheaper, but this guy's service, I'll give you an idea of how good his service was. For the first time ever, he made a mistake. We've got some 16mm bolts, and they accidentally sent 6mm bolts. It does look on the packet like someone's accidentally put a 1 in, so they've obviously picked it up really quickly and packed. I sent them a message. I said, I'm ever so sorry. I said, you've accidentally sent me 6mm when I wanted 16. Could you tell me how I can return the 6mm bolts? And, you know, how do you organize? And they just sent me a message. Yeah, we'll stick some 16mm in the post. I've still got the 6mm. They told me to keep them. And they were actually there. Normally you post second class delivery, so it takes 2 days, which is reasonable if you're paying free postage. If you do a large order, he'll send it out by DPD courier. These bolts I got the next day, so they rushed them first class. I can't argue with that. This next tab is the printed parts. This has been written by Mackett Pro, and we've added these columns here just to give you a breakdown of the cost. Now, this is actually the original tractor that's been edited for the 2019 version. So you see here the upper chassis. It's not needed, so they've crossed it out, but he's left them in. Front chassis is changed, various other parts. And I've gone through every single part and I've loaded it into Cura, and I can see it's going to cost me roughly $41.95 to print all of the parts. Some parts are very expensive. You see there the tires, they're going to come out about £10 each, which is a lot of money, but you only need 2 of them. This is a list of the electronics, and he's put the links in, and we've gone through the prices. Ignore this bit here. This is for our benefit. Things like the screws. I'll show you. Can I show this? Right, bear with me a sec. I say that a lot. That's my catchphrase now, isn't it? Bear with me a bit. Right, I'm going to share my screen rather than my Chrome tab, so you will see exactly what I see. Right, so these are the screws that, I mean, like you see there, 25 of those screws, 1 of those screws, 2 of those. The link he's given us is with Banggood, and this is a pack of 100 screws, and then you choose which size. So obviously this is in UK prices. If you're abroad, it may not make sense. So £3.19. Now we want 1 M3 by 30. M3 by 30. So a pack of 100 of them is £5.28. What I've chosen to do is to go through the guy that I like to use. I'm very, very happy to show his name off because I love his service. Purchase history. You're probably going to see a massive purchase history here. Right. So let's pick these bolts. Now, I've bought 50 of every bolt. This is the reason why. If you buy 4 bolts, you see they're 99 pence. If you buy 10, they're £1.20. If you buy 100, they're £3.55. It's because most of that cost is the postage. Obviously, it's free postage, but he needs to make a profit. So I think it's most economical at £1.95 for 50, £1.20 for 10. So I've decided to go 50 screws every order, with a few exceptions. And then I've shared some with Horlicks, and the rest will just go in my box, and then they'll be useful for future projects. The exceptions are, I think we rewrote this, didn't we? Or did we?
Well, I put a link in somewhere and I blanked some stuff off.
Why? Right. Okay.
We've got a separate screw spreadsheet, haven't we?
Oh, of course we have. Yeah. Right. Sorry. Right. So this is the screw. Oh God, that's very different. So.
Yeah. Sorry, I had to colour the lines. I was looking.
All right. It's okay. It was unexpected, and it hit me. So things like the M350mm button heads, they were £1.99 for 4, so I wasn't going to buy 50 of those. But these little ticks, they're just things that we're marking off when we've ordered them, what we're going to share. So what things that I don't need to buy, things that Horlicks, just to save us from ordering twice. So we've also got one for the electronics. So let's have a look at what we need to buy. So we need to buy a differential, and the differential is here, part number 101. So he's provided a link. So we just click on that link. These links are provided by the seller, and this differential is gone mental on my screen. I'm noticing the prices are changing. Let's see how much that's changed. That's actually gone down in price. The prices seem to change every day. So for £4.75, you got the differential. And what this means is that when the tractor's going round corners, obviously the outside radius of a circle is bigger than the inside. So it just enables the back wheels to spin at different rates so that they're not kind of dragging or anything. The next part that we're going to need is, bear with me, right, the 8x12 by 3.5 ball bearings. Now, this is one of those parts there. We actually need 6, but they're sold in packs of 10. So you got to buy 10. So therefore, we have actually priced that at let me just double check. Yeah, they've actually gone up in price by a penny. So we've priced this at £3.18, even though you only need 6. And they're the bearings. But as you can see, look, the shipping time is 7 to 20 days. I've already ordered these, but I've not received them yet. Now what's going to happen is when we're only going to need 2 bearings for the first stage, so we'll have 8 left over, and then what you'll see is further down, there we go, look, so in week 3 we're going to need 1 bearing, but you see we've priced it at 0, and that's because we've already bought it in stage 1 there. Okay, and then we'll need 4, so you see that we've priced 4 M3 nuts at £1.69. We felt that was a fairer way to do it, because to say buy 4 nuts and then the next week can you buy 3 nuts and the week after 10, it's just easier to price it for a pack of 50 what I paid, and then we'll just take 4, and then as you can see subsequent nuts will cost 0 until we run out of nuts. And then we need some 3 M16 button head bolts. And say I get mine from, these are the button head bolts. So M3 16. Like if you only want to buy 4, it's 99p. But you know, that's pretty much buy 8, get 42 free.
Yeah.
So that's why I've done it. Plus I've sent some on to Horlicks. So that's what you need to buy for week 1, which I think you will cost £11.59, and then closer to the time we will print these off, which is £4.47 worth of prints.
And then obviously you've done a calculation, haven't you, in the left column, so that's how much it was, you know.
Yeah. So in total you need £16.06. Remember I said that we want to stick to a budget of £15, but we'll go up to 20. So I've got another little calculation there just to tell us how much over budget we are. This is just to help us keep in control. So week 2, 1687, so we're £2.93 over budget. Next week, 1754, which takes us to £5.47. So week 4, we've cost us a little bit less. So we brought that deficit down to 91. We haven't done week 5 yet, but we've got £14.09 will keep us on track. The theory I've got is, if I had, say, a 10-year-old son who said, I want to follow Penny and Horlicks' project, I think it would be good fun and it'll be educational and it'll cost £15 a week on average, I would be inclined to say, yes, certainly. If he then came up to me on week 1 and go, right, well, I need 150 quid, the first thing I'd say is, well, hang on, you said 15 quid. If he said, well, I want 150 quid, but then I don't want anything for 9 weeks, I might be possibly. But the way we've done it is something that I would agree with. All right, it might cost 20 quid 1 week, but it might cost 10 the next, but it's going to average 10 to 15. We haven't got the exact cost yet, but I think we've done fairly good judgment. It's not going to be a million miles out, is it?
No.
And as I say, but you know what we're like when we're building. We've done plan for, I'm pretty sure it's 28 weeks. And we're going to be doing the front of the tractor. That'll take 3 weeks. The back of the tractor, that'll take 3 weeks. Then we're going to move on to the cab. The reason we're doing the cab is because that's not going to cost any electronics. You know what I'm going to say, Horlicks? I've lost my sheet of paper. It's here somewhere. Here we go. Right. So we're going to do the front on weeks 1 to 3, the steering on weeks 4 to 6. Sorry, the back in 1 to 3. Then we're going to spend 2 weeks on the cabin, and then 1 week on the leveler. We think we can complete that leveler in 1 week. Let me show you this. Oh, where are we? All right. Right. The leveler, it's not much, but this is all we need for the leveler. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 printed parts. We need 6, 7, 8, 20 screws plus. I think that's 2 more screws, but the guys put an error in. And we need 8 nuts, which we would already have bought, and 4 nylock nuts, which I think all of those parts there would have already been bought for the tractor. And then was probably about, let's call it £1.35 for the body and 12 pence for the leveler. We have got some flexible material parts, 3 of them. So I think that's going to cost, I'm going to estimate that. Let's be really conservative and say a tenner, shall we?
Yeah.
So that's £10 for 1 week. Once we've done the leveler, unfortunately, then it's just going to sit there until the end of the project for us to admire. But, you know, that's fine. Then we're going to do the 2 trailers. That's going to take 6 weeks. Then we're going to do the next stage of the tractor. We're pretty much going to put the front and the back together. That'll take 3 weeks. Then we're going to do the lifter, and the lifter looks like, well, I can't show you the lifter, but we've only got the spreadsheet. I might have to show you their other spread. Let me show you their other spreadsheet. We're still working on our spreadsheet.
Yeah, it's been quite a few late nights.
There's 4 a.m. average go to bed, was it?
Yeah.
Right. So this is his. You can get this spreadsheet from the Mackett website. Just waiting for it to load up. Right. So the lifter, it's a little bit more complex, which is why we're saving it for later. And we see we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 printed parts, a few screws. There is another motor going in there. JST cables shouldn't be a problem because we're buying them in packs of 10. The ESC with and without a brake, they're a little bit more expensive, but come on, £6.20.
So anything you can see, the thing says without a brake, that is with, so that's something we're gonna have to look into.
Yeah. T plug to JST, I don't think we're going to need that because we've got, this is for the transmitter and the battery. So we'll have already bought that at some point. But so basically we're looking at buying all of these parts. So let's be conservative and say 30 quid. Does that sound fair?
Yeah.
And that's over 3 weeks. So when we've done that, we will then do another section called finishing. So we're going to finish the tractor in 3 weeks, and then we're going to do the fertilizer, and that is probably the most difficult one. But look how little it requires. We need cables and connect. Well, we've got printed parts, obviously. We've got a few screws, which I know we'll have bought all of those screws by the time we get that far. Cables and connectors, I think we'll already have because we're buying them in like packs of 10. This is the only part we'll actually have to buy that's not printed. A motor for £3.44, and that's a 3-week build. The only thing that's going to affect that is our inability to stop talking, really. Let's be honest here. So some of these where we've said it'll take 3 weeks, they might take 4 or 5 weeks. But to be absolutely honest with you, in terms of in terms of budget, if we end up taking more weeks than we planned, that just makes the budget better, doesn't it? It brings the average cost down.
Yeah.
So, right. Can I just run away for 20 seconds and just leave you? I keep leaving you talking, Horlicks, but I'm having one of my run over there moments.
That's all right. Yeah, so Chris, has the pipe bender printed yet? Yes, it's just finished on the print. So I'll go and grab that, actually. Bear with me 3 seconds. Right. Ta-da! There it is. And that's actually come out really nice. I'd say my printer didn't like 0.3 for some reason. It just fell apart. So this was done on a 0.2. But you can see how that's come out. So this is the test then, isn't it? So if I grab...
You know, so I was just listening while I was so when you drink coffee all day long and then come home and drink loads of Pepsi, it tends to have an effect on you. You said about yours falling apart at 0.3 layer level, and my tires fell apart at 0.3 layer level, but they were fine at 0.2. So I wonder if there's obviously something. Is it because maybe 0.2 there'll be more contact than if it's 0.3 because it's going to come out more and more space?
Yeah, possibly.
You know? So I'm still learning stuff, you see, from you know, because I've made the mistake using flexible filament, it's a bit more of a costly mistake, but it's a mistake I can learn from. And we also learn, well, we're in the process of learning. Oh, is that a really good fit?
Perfect.
Is that absolutely perfect, is it?
Yeah.
Wow. That's brilliant.
I reckon I could hold that upside down and it would stay.
You know what? I made one mistake. No, I didn't. Let's ignore that. I was no. Yeah, I'm pleased that's come out so well. That's quite interesting, isn't it? I think your printers were helped, but I mean, I've got the old version of mine somewhere in a box that's had loads of other stuff chucked in it.
So now it's just working out where and how to bend.
See, now I've got a theory about that.
So I've printed off. I think we'll be all right because I've actually printed off to scale of the rods. So what I can actually do is put the rod in and then just marry it up with the paperwork.
Yeah.
So if I just turn it upside down for a minute. I can line the radius up with the page, which you can see just there. Adjust this rod to fit.
Well, right.
And then
I can't find my rod bender, so I'm going to have to use you as a guinea pig. This is my theory, right? Can you get a camera pointing straight down onto the table?
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so forget the rod for the minute. Just put the pipe bender exactly. If that piece of paper was the rod, put the take the pipe off for a minute. Right. So put that exactly where the bend is. Remember, the bend is on the inside, not on the outside. So that's it. So yeah, if that piece of paper was the rod, place it so as we're looking down, it's actually over. I think you might. Yeah, that's perfect. Right. So draw a line on the piece of paper on the edge of the pipe bender.
What do you mean?
Right. See, where the right. Sorry, I'm trying to point on your screen, but obviously you can't see it. Right. So where the edge of the pipe bender is, right? Mark a line.
What, here?
Yeah, it's as close as you can.
What, on the paper?
Right. Mark it with a pencil or something really small nib. Right at the point. That's it. Just there. Right.
Hang on. Yeah.
Right. Now, measure from that line to the other end of the pipe, the bit that's off screen. And do it with calipers. Can you zoom?
Yeah.
Or, better still, place the rod over that line. Actually, do it with the rod. Right. Sorry. Hold the rod. That's it. Now, mark on the rod exactly where that line is.
Yeah.
Now, place that rod in the pipe bender so that line is right on the edge of the pipe bender.
Yeah.
Now, in theory, if you now bend that pipe there, that should come out the same length, shouldn't it?
Should do.
Does that work for you?
I suppose the only thing to do, Try
The
it.
only thing is, how do you stop that rod from moving up and down? Could you,
It'll be in a vice.
right, but what's going to stop it from rotating up and down, moving up and down? Well, pop it in the vice, see what happens.
I can use.
Don't forget, you'll need the left-hand side sticking out of the vice.
I reckon I can use some heat shrink.
Okay.
Because it's rubbery.
Can you get it off afterwards? That was, I was wondering if maybe you could glue gun it in, because that glue.
No, I'm just gonna. All I'm gonna do is push. Oh, push some heat tubing on the outside.
Right. To grip it. Yeah, you're going to make that rod ever so slightly bigger and make it grippier.
So I'm happy with that.
Okay.
Put that in. Hopefully. Yeah, that's going to grip the rod. I need to do that up.
Don't trap the fingers, will you?
No.
Otherwise, you'll look like someone with squished fingers. Right. So maybe we should have made that holder long. I don't know. No.
Well, that ain't moving anywhere.
Right. Do you want to have a go at that? I've got a spare 3mm rod if it goes wrong.
So have I now, because you sent me one.
Oh, of course, yeah. Right. Yeah, let me explain the problem. You know me with rods. I was worried that where I bent a rod testing it, we were going to, if we don't get those lengths exact, we're going to use too much rod. We're going to have too much wastage and we'll end up running out of rods. So I went on to eBay and I found what I thought was a UK seller. And I ordered a 2mm rod and a 3mm rod for me. And then I repeated the order and had it sent to Horlicks. They sent us both a 3mm and a 4mm rod. I then complained and they've agreed to send another one out, but it's going to be with us in up to 28 days, which I'm really not happy with. And it did come from China on some kind of express postage. So basically we paid about 3 times the cost of a Chinese rod to receive a Chinese rod that came from China. Then I should have ordered a Chinese rod. So Horlicks hasn't got a spare 2mm rod. As it happened, I forgot I made an order from AliExpress of a 2, 3, and a 4mm rod. I showed them on stream last week, didn't I? So I don't know where they came from. I found out they came from AliExpress. I ordered them about a month and a half ago and they just arrived. And one of those was bent because it was sent in a bag with no protection. So I'm never, ever, ever buying a rod from China ever again.
No.
So if I ever see a project, if Horlicks ever says, right, well, I want to do this project and it's got rods in it, I'm going to go, oh.
Well, so am I. I mean, I've been nervous.
Sorry, Chris Davies, yeah, he has got it, but we were going to leave that as a surprise. So you've ruined our surprise. Right. I'm excited now. I want to see this rod bent.
Yeah, I'm not. So I don't really know what to do.
What I would do is place my finger, place your right index finger where the joint, that's it, and then gently bend it just a little bit. And then as you bend more, you're going to slide your finger down following the curve of the rod bender. Go slowly, go gently. If anyone's disagreeing with me, by all means chirp up. I'm just chucking theories at them. Now stop. Are you happy with what that's done so far?
Actually, yes, very.
Right, brilliant. What you're trying to do is stop a kink. That's why I've told you to put your finger in.
Yeah. And obviously slow is better, because I suppose if you go in guns blazing and just snap it round, it'll just...
Yeah. Now I know from using a proper rod bender, you can underbend it and you can keep going. If you overbend it more than 90 degrees, you can't bend it back. So that's why I'm saying go slowly. And you just want to keep going until you've got what you feel is a 90-degree angle. I don't think it's going to matter if it's 89 degrees or 91, but you don't want a 150-degree angle.
Right. That's as far as it wants to go. But
Okay.
So what do we do in that situation?
Right. Take it out.
Because I think we need to... Actually, what we could have done is done a slight bend at the bottom. Because don't you have to bend it a few more degrees?
Maybe I should have brought that round, say, 100 degrees.
So I can't seem to get that anymore. So I think the only option
you finish that by hand
is to remove it from the jig and then do the rest by hand.
Right.
So.
And use your template on the piece of paper to see how far out, and But I would say generally that's a good bend, actually, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right, Coach, come on, let's see the template. I want to see how good it is. Do you know what? I mean, I've spoken in the past with Love Minis about, I make a prototype and then I see how far I'm out. And then, that's not bad, is it? That is not bad. But that bend is perfect, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
The way we've measured it.
So I just need to straighten this up. So I'm just going to put my thumb in there. Or my finger, and bend it around my finger.
See, if we had something that was 12 mil radius, you could bend it. Do you know what? That is not bad, is it? Look at that.
Still a bit more.
Yeah, but look how close you are. Oh, wow. So I'm really happy because what do we say? I think I did something once before, and I did like two or three prototypes and it came out okay. This has come out first go. Oh, you bent that one back a lot, didn't you?
That didn't.
So are we saying nice and slow and be patient?
Yeah.
Okay. I think you want the bend near the end of it. Yeah. So really take your time on this, and because oh, look at that. That's not bad, is it?
I think I'm going to stop there.
Brilliant. And look at that. That is exact length.
I mean, I could.
What are the dimensions of that one? What's the length and width?
195 and 124.
So that makes 9, 11, 319. So is that 330 mil rod?
Yeah.
So.
And it's very, very slightly just short. But I was expecting that because when you buy it, they seem to be a little bit shorter from some sellers than some others.
Right, okay. But I don't think that's going to make a massive difference. Just means that one of your planets is going to be... Well, actually, if they're all that much shorter... I mean, I suppose you could be clever, and the rods that are long enough, you could actually overcut. So you actually could bring all the planets down about 3 or 4 mil.
Yeah, I think the only problem is going to be... I think as long as you keep this length the same...
Yeah.
as you're looking it up, right?
Yeah.
This bit won't
It's
matter.
not upside down, isn't it?
Yeah. So if I turn that around the right way.
Yeah. So if all the rods, that's the longest 2 mil, that's the longest 3 mil rod, is it?
Yeah. So as
Brilliant.
long as all of these are the right length, I believe
Okay.
we'll be all right, because
So
that's the spacing between them, and the height doesn't matter, because that just means your planets might be slightly higher or lower. But as long as
what you
this
can
bit's,
do, like the Jupiter one, you'll actually deliberately cut that rod a couple of millimeters too short, so that it's level with the Saturn. But what it looks like, what you want to do is the rod that you use for Jupiter, you then want to use the leftover, if there's enough left over, to do the smallest one, which looks like the moon gate. And
yeah.
then the Mars might do Mercury and Earth might do Venus. I'm really impressed with that. I'm going to pat myself on the back now, I think. But yeah, now you guys said, it looks really good. It's because I've drawn circles and squares. It's really not a complex piece. It's just squares and circles. And I can do squares and circles and put them together. I can't, like, if I tried to craft Horlicks's face with Tinkercad, you can go and take a long run off a short plank for that one. But squares and things, yeah, I can do that. And we
So
know
that has sort of put my mind to rest a bit.
good.
Now the one I'm worried about is Mercury.
Yeah. I was hoping you weren't going to bring that up just yet, but okay, yes, I am as well. I'll be honest with you, because that first bend, we'll manage that. I think what we're going to have to do is I'll chop the ends off the pipe bender and make various lengths. So instead of having one of each, we might have 4 or 5 of each.
Yeah.
With different lengths. But that double kink is going to be hard. I'm not, I think that is going to be hard. We can, if you look at the Mercury, if you look at the first bend, can you just run your finger along it? Right. We do that one. Right. If we did that one first, that's easy. Then the next bend, that will be easy. But the next bend is very, very close. Now, we could partially get round that by doing the other one first, come in from the other side.
Yeah.
Right, if we did that first bend, but then we've got to do that second bend. Remember, we're going to have to keep that rotated properly.
The only thing I can think of is if we have a bender that follows the shape. So it'll go up round the bender, curve this bit as well, so then it will fit round it.
So you mean we make a bender that's got 3 bends in it?
Yeah. And then, well, 2. And then we can the pipes will be in the groove, so then we can still put that in the vise. And then we have a second bender, which is a bit smaller, that we can use. I don't know.
I've got it. Right. I'm going to have to draw this. Right. I'm just going to nick the camera. Right. Actually, I'm going to keep you on because I'm going to need to see. Right. Can you keep that picture showing? Right. And then settings. Right. I think if we make. Right. I'm upside down, aren't I? There we go. Right. So if we make a bender for that top bit, that should be that way. Yeah. See that bit with the 17. Right. We'll make a bender just for that corner. Right. Then we'll make a bender. I'll probably have to do a 2-piece bender. Right. We'll have a bender that looks like that. Right. And then we'll have another piece that's got a hole in it. Right. Where are we? There. Also, I've gone off camera. So if the side view of that, it will look like that. So what we'll do is we'll do that one that you're pointing at now with this bender.
Yeah.
Then we'll take it out. We'll place the bit that we've bent into that hole.
Yeah.
Right. And that'll have a curve on it as well. Right. So it'll actually be holding it for us. And then we'll bend that second bend. Right. No, hang on. No. Right. So after we bend it with that one to make that first bend, we'll have a rod that looks like that. Right. Ah, that's it. Right. So then we'll have this bit. So we'll place the rod into there like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've got a block, and we'll have the pipe will actually be in it like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then we'll place that block onto that, and then hold that in the vise. So we've got
Yes.
2 blocks. So we've got a bend there, and it'll be sticking out like that, and then we'll bend that around like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Brilliant. So I'm going to be honest with you now. I think this project is going to take more than 3 more weeks. But we will have all the parts that if someone comes along and says, I want to do this project, they'll probably be able to complete it in a couple of weeks.
So I'm just going to look at my supplies.
Look at your surprise.
And see, make sure we've got enough.
Well, I don't think we do. That's why I bought you the extra 2mm rod, which you now don't have, but you will have it within a month.
I think, hang on. Penny's labelled them up so well, I can't get the stickers off.
That's my label printer for you.
So, I've got two 2mm, which will be fine for these two. So one of them will do them.
Right.
So that one will be for that one. That will be for that one.
Yeah.
Right. And
Oh,
I've got enough for that one. I've got enough for that one. We've done that one, so that's done.
I'm really happy with that. Really.
I've got this one left over to do Mars, so that will be done. Okay, so I'm just going to lay them
left over after doing Mars.
I'm just going to lay mine across, so I've got what I'm doing. So that'll do these two. Oh, that one and that one. So then I've got a 3mm here that will do. Yeah, I've got more than enough.
Do you think?
Yeah, this one here will do easily. This one. And roughly about there. And that one. So that one rod would do those remaining two. So we've done that one, we've done that one, we've done that one, and we've done that one, we've done that one, and then I've got 2 more left to do this last one here. So yeah, I've actually got too many.
Brilliant. Okay, that's fine then. I mean, I did a
I'll have one left over. So if you need me to send this back to you,
no, because we really don't know what we're going to be doing in the future, do we?
So yeah, and then I've still got a spare 4mm but I don't need that because we only needed the one for the.
Is the 4mm the one that you were sent by me recently from eBay? That was the mistake.
Yes.
4mm should be a 2mm.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, I've got more than enough rods to do the rest of these.
Excellent.
So that's made me feel a bit more confident now, because I will lie, I was stressing about this at work. I was talking to Lorraine going, oh my God, I'm going to bend them.
Can I just pause you, Horlicks? Sorry. Because Gordy's trying to go, I just want to respond to his comment. Gordy left a comment on the Routemaster saying that I can't remember exactly what he said, but basically he said he wasn't getting on with the, well, I call them purple, but pink labels. And it made me realize that just because I like the color doesn't mean it's a good color. So what we've done, we had a little play. We weren't sure whether to do white writing on black background or white on, whatever. So no one seems to have left any comments about them, but that's fine. I've made the labels quite plain. At the end of the day, the stream is all about what's in this box, not what's in that box there. So I'm quite happy with the plain one. I do listen to feedback. If you find any bit difficult to watch, then I'll look at ways I can change it. So if great big pink labels makes it difficult to watch, then we've got to change it for the masses. So I apologize, Horlicks, carry on.
No, that was it. All I was saying is, I was obviously a bit concerned about the bending. I was really worried. I was talking.
Yeah, I was. There was a little bit of a relief that I've lost my pipe bender, because then it means you've got to do the bending and I don't. But in actual fact, I wish I found it now, because
so you can get up to the same as me.
So because it's getting late now, I've shown you how to design the pipe bender. We want to make a Facebook group. I think we need to make a Facebook group for this show. And then what we'll do is we can put all the files that we come up with, links and this, that, and the other. But what we will do, can we nick a Facebook group? We can't, can we? Right. Keep coming back to this. I know I'm not hunting for extra views. Keep coming back to this show. I'll keep updating the links in the description. I'll post them up somewhere. Is there still free websites available? Oh, Google Drive. Right. So I'll post this. I'll share this file onto Google Drive. I'll then make the 2mm version. I've got so many bits of paper running around everywhere. Right. I'll do the 5mm radius for the 2mm rod, and then we'll look at doing we'll make some shorter versions and some. I don't think we'll need longer versions, but I'll make some shorter versions, and then we'll work on this double bend one as well. So I'll do a double bend for both, and then I'll call it a brace. It'll just be, oh, thanks, Fleetwood. It'll just be a block with a hole in it. Yeah, and then that way we'll be able to. I think that should actually be quite a difficult one to do. I'll work on it. I'm off tomorrow, but the main aim for tomorrow is doing all my washing and putting some shelves up. Try and all this stuff that I can't clear. I'm going to put 2 more of these shelves up. I bought them, and they'll go up tomorrow. And then I'll be chucking loads of stuff on the shelf, if only just to clear a space. Because the way I clear is I move stuff to somewhere, as I tidy, that makes more space, and then I can move. But I've got nowhere to move anything to. So anyway, I'm waffling on that one. Thursday I'm off as well. I got a feeling I've got things to do, but I'll be also be ordering some boxes. These wonderful, you see them in the background actually. Just there, they're cheap archive boxes, and they are really, 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 really good. Oh yeah, Thursday we're moving some stuff around in the hallway. As you know, I think the rodent problem is now a former problem. I don't know if my 3D printer has scared them away, or the poison traps that the exterminator left behind has killed them. But the mice or rats don't seem to be around anymore. So I'm ready to move my 3D printer back in my room. So anyway, over to you, Horlicks. And I love that orange.
I was just going to say I've sneakily fitted one of the rods to one of my
Did it
gears.
go in easily?
No, but tight. So it might need some filing.
Well, it did say in the instructions you'd have to drill the holes out.
Yeah, I might have to use a drill. I managed to get it in, and it'll probably need gluing as well. I reckon when we actually come to put these in, we're going to need to start from the top and work down.
Right.
Because it might be awkward to try and get inside. So I think it's probably best to work from the top down.
Okay.
Smallest out. But that's the slowest gear in. And
okay. Do we get a preview? Oh, look at that.
Now I'm interested to see if it gets jammed on that cog.
Yeah. Right, take care, Dave. He says, right, all enjoyed this tonight. Was very informative. Brilliant. I mean, Dave has an awful lot of knowledge about stuff. So for Dave to say it's informative, I'll put a big tick by tonight's show then, as in good stream.
Oh my god.
What is that, a good oh my god or bad?
I don't even think you could get a piece of paper between them.
But it's still moving?
It is moving.
Oh!
It just clears it.
Wow.
So that's obviously Saturn going round.
Lovely.
It's actually quite long.
Well, it needs to be though, doesn't it?
But yeah, that's going round. Really happy with that.
Good. It's going round quite slowly, but poor old Earth is going to fly round, isn't it? We're all going to be seasick. But saying that, if you feel it's too fast, there's ways to slow that motor down, isn't there?
Yeah. But no, I think that's perfect. So that is the slowest gear we've got. So at least it shows that all of this is working.
Yeah. Because at the moment, I don't think all my gears are working properly. You need to sort of glue some of them and leave them. And also, because I've put more gears in, the bot, you see how slow that Saturn's moving? 3 planets down, it's going to move even slower than that.
Yeah. So really happy with that.
I would be, yeah.
Take that back out.
It looks like you don't need a lot of work to get that in. I think I printed mine with supports when I didn't actually need to. But I can already see. Whoa, my son just fell out. Look.
So yeah, I mean, just because that one just clears, I think some other ones might be very tight. So I think there's going to be a lot of.
Are you over 75% confident?
Yeah, I think so.
At the moment, I'm about 40% confident. I'll do my absolute best to get it working, but I really don't know.
Oh, actually, thinking about this, we might be one short actually,
Right.
because we need to do this one and this one and this one, but we actually need. Oh no, that's the moon gear, and I had an extra rod, didn't I? I said to you, oh, I've got an extra spare rod, but I haven't, because we need to do 4 of those. Oh, you can't even see what I'm pointing at. Yeah, we're actually going to need to do this one up here, the moon gear. We need 4, which I think we probably overlooked originally. So yes. Okay. This spare one was needed to do the moon gear 4 times.
Well, yeah. So we may possibly come to a stop while we get rods.
But yeah, really happy with that. So I'm going to put that in my box for another week. Yeah. So I'm actually going to get my highlighter, I think, and just highlight this rod, because then I know I've bent that one.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good idea. I like that.
And I'll put the pipe bender in there, ready for a pipe bending stint.
Yeah. So we have actually been more productive than we thought we'd be.
Oh yeah, Mark the Tart says thanks, Penny and Horlicks. Love the Cura tutorial, learned a lot.
No problem.
That's what it's all about. I mean, it wasn't, I wasn't expecting you to pick it all up and go, oh right, but it's just to sort of a rough look at what you have to do.
Yeah.
And it's not as scary as it may look. I think probably the scariest bit is just setting the printer up. But even then, once it's set up,
my first printer I found really, really hard to set up. And I'm not just talking about building it, but I'm talking about using it. The Ender 3, as you all know, fairly simple to put together. There were a couple of things that Steve Graham helped me out with. I was struggling and he just jumped in with a few comments. And I was pretty much printing straight out of the box because I kind of knew what I was doing. I knew the modifications I wanted to make because I'd done a bit of research on YouTube. I didn't really know properly what would happen if I didn't do them, but those modifications gave me something to print, so I was quite happy to do them. So what I would say is if you ever get a printer, do lots and lots of research on YouTube first, and try and get your mates involved, because that's helped me out big time. So I suppose you could say this next project, the next project wouldn't be possible without Steve Graham help me set up the Ender 3. If he hadn't helped me fix a few problems, I'd be sitting there still pulling my hair out going, oh, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So, I get by with a little help from my friends.
Yeah, I think, there's a brilliant community out there. And like when I struggled, when I first got mine, I mean, all right, to be fair, I used a part work printer, and that's a little bit more complicated to operate than something that's more mainstream. But I was pulling my hair out. I just couldn't understand it. But there was a lot of help out there. And then, they knew the machine wasn't very good, but they still tried to find ways around it to make it work for me, because that's all I had at the time. And that was really good.
I am so glad I stopped my build. The reason I stopped it was I had 11 months to go at £35 a month. And for the same money, I could buy the CR10, which should be delivered within a couple of days. But you had concerns about it as well, didn't you? Perhaps I need a heated bed, but I think I do. Well, I do actually, because I've got some things where you can't get away without one. So anyway, I'm going to tell you my really, really brilliant news. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. These little bags, I love dolly mixtures. When I buy a bag, I eat the little jelly ones first because I don't like the jelly ones so much. And then I divide all the dolly mixtures. This is me with weird. I'm weird with sweets. I divide them into brown and not brown. And normally I get about, brown's my favorite one because they're chocolate. And I normally get 3 or 4. And today I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've got 10 not brown and 8 brown. That's almost 50% brown. I'm so excited. Look, there's the brown ones, and that is the most fantastic ratio I've ever had of dolly mixtures. So I'm going to enjoy those.
Good. I can't stand them personally.
Can you not? And then what I have to do, I have to.
They're too sweet.
Oh no! Well, they are. They're pure ice and sugar, aren't they?
Yeah.
But, see, I get 2 the same color, and then I lick one, and then I stick them together and squish them, and then you got to square them off again so they look nice. And then look, I got one big dolly mixture. Sorry, I'm a player with food. When I eat bourbon biscuits, I have to split them into 2.
Chris says drinking vodka. No, I can't stand it.
Can you not?
And I don't understand people that can knock it back and eat either.
Oh no! Now I know quite a few Eastern Europeans, and they can. They know how to drink vodka. Oh, I was in the shoe shop today, trying to buy a new pair of shoes. I'm trying these shoes on. And I said to the assistant, I go, they're a little bit tight. So the assistant said, sorry, trying to eat the sweet before. So anyway, the assistant said, have you tried sticking the tongue out? So I tried again and I went, they're still a bit tight. No, okay.
I thought, sorry, do you know what? I was actually looking at the spreadsheet and I thought you were actually telling us a story about you actually buying some shoes.
That's how the best jokes are. Oh, Kendall mint cake. How awesome is that? Yeah, try sticking the tongue out. No, still a bit tight. I got my manager this morning on a brilliant one. He always takes me seriously. I keep telling him off. I said, never take me seriously. He's very polite. My job is to go into work and do as I'm told. If I get, here's a route, right, off I go and do it. Once I've done 12 hours, they can't make me, they can only ask me, but normally I'll say yes. Because it's most workplaces, it's all about favors. If I do something for them, they'll do something for me. But he always goes, oh, would it be possible? Would you mind doing this? And I'm like, well, yeah, you tell me to do it. But I say things and he's like, what? And I'm going, no, just don't take me seriously. So anyway, I'm out in the yard helping someone, and he rang me on my mobile phone, which is what they always do. And I've got a separate ring for work, so I can tell who's ringing me without looking at my phone. And my ringtone for the inspector is Yoda going, "The dark side is calling you," which I thought was quite appropriate for management, isn't it? So I pick up my phone and I go, "Hello, Penny Blake. I'm afraid there's no one here to take your call." And he hung up on me. Right. So I went back in. I went, "You do know that was me, don't you?" Not an answer. He went, "What was it? You, was it?" And I'm like, "Yeah." That's why he didn't want to leave a message. But bear in mind, this is like 7 in the morning. Normally when they ring, they just stick it on loudspeaker so they can keep the phone on, and carry on working. One of the drivers had heard the call, and because he told me later on, he goes, "I thought it was funny because you don't have answer phones on mobile phones." And I went, "Yeah, that's what I thought he'd think." So I thought that was absolutely hilarious. So, and the other thing was, we had a driver had an accident, and I asked him, I said, "Oh, was that your accident?" Try to show a bit of concern. And he right had a go at me. "Oh, everyone keep going on about the accident." I'm going, "I'm sorry, mate. I'm just trying to show a bit of concern." And he stormed off. So I just went, "Yeah, right, fuck off." And then I mentioned to someone else, and I said, "Wouldn't it be funny?" I said, if he's up for disciplinary, and I'm the trade union rep who's got to represent him." So right, okay. So I can't think of anything else to do now.
I've just asked Fleetwood J if he's actually seen the new project yet, because I've got it ready. I think I'd love to see Fleetwood's what he thinks of it.
Have you got the video ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if he's already seen it on his way back or
not. Okay. Well, let's play it anyway because I love it.
Okay.
So, this is our new project coming in 4 or 5 weeks, perhaps.
Hopefully, Fleetwood's still there and he hasn't dropped out again. Oh, why not play him?
Doesn't like you. So this is everything on the screen that we're going to be printing and making.
There you go, Fleetwood. So everything you see is what we'll be building,
apart from the grains in the trailer. And you see that palette on the green trailer? We'll be printing that as well.
And what I really like about it is in the middle, you can see the wires connecting. Actually, you can attach the different attachments on, like you would a real car with a tow bar and the electronics. So you can just hot swap or whatever you want to drive about, and you can obviously control it all with the same controller, providing you get the 6-channel one. But obviously, we'll go more into detail throughout the build.
Yeah. Oh, do you know what I found today on Banggood? I found an 8-channel receiver.
Ah, Penny.
I
need to pause this in a minute. I've just found something out.
Uh-oh.
I'll rewind it in a sec and show you, because we had this discussion the other day. but it's so detailed, even to the little
Yeah, I've not gone through all the bits yet on that trailer, and I'm trying to figure out if those sides are printed or if they're bits of wood. But I think there's going to be printed bits.
Right, I just want to pause this here for a second so I can show you something, Penny.
Is this what we discussed the other day that we're going to buy, but we can't figure out what the hell it is?
Yes.
Right. Sorry, I apologise for us talking in code.
Right.
Oh, so
there
he
it
put
is.
it in the tractor, but they actually need it for the leveler.
Yeah. So there's the two bits that we knew about.
Yeah.
That's third one.
Ah, so it does go on the tractor.
Is the center one, which is one of the ones that you received today.
Right. Okay, just to fill you in, guys, the instructions, we're confident we can follow them, but they're a little tiny bit vague in places. Obviously, the guy's a designer and he's designing this more than he's doing instructions. But it is good. We can follow it, but a lot of it we're having to figure it out ourselves. But yeah.
But obviously we're doing that hard work. So if any of you do want to build it, then obviously refer to our step-by-step. We've got the correct links.
We're not building this because we actually want it ourselves and to play with it. We're actually building it just to show you. Honest.
No, but yeah, that's good. So that's we don't need to worry about that because we'll have them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So there you go, Fleetwood. I knew probably because I've seen a lot of your builds with the when you go down the beach with your remote control Lego bits, and yeah, this just reminds me of that. It's going to be amazing, and it does. It's yeah.
I bet you Fleetwood was already thinking, great, I'll take that down the beach.
Yeah. You could like take it with you when you go to a beach outing and level all the sand off before you lay your towel down. But while Fleetwood's here, if you can swap camera angles.
Hang on. Right, what camera angles? Oh, you want you, do you?
Yeah, I just wanted to show because I've obviously missed.
I'm looking for another video myself.
I just want, I'm missing what I didn't expect to show Fleetwood earlier because he wasn't on. That is the front, and I've used that chrome pen to do the front badge. And I absolutely love it. And it goes on so beautifully. And do you know what? It actually works as a filler because that obviously I could see lines in from the print and it sort of filled the holes in for me. So yeah, that's I've done. I'm undecided whether to do the line chrome as well. I think that might look quite cool, but I will save some of it for the build, obviously, but I haven't decided whether to do the line through it the same or whether it be too much. I think that's just right as it is, but yeah, really enjoyed using that pen. So
is it literally as easy as printing, as easily as painting, drawing? Sorry.
Pardon?
Is it simply as easy as writing?
Yeah. And I know I'm going a bit too far because I don't want to spoil it, but I've chromed the wheel nuts as well.
Oh, that's chrome wheel nuts. He's going to be like a boy racer in his tractor, isn't he?
This is obviously a 3D printed cap for the middle of the wheels. But I thought they'd look nice in chrome as well because it'll set the orange off nicely that I've gone for. So yeah.
Oh, get in there! Right, I've got a real treat for you.
Yeah, it's perfect because it's like self-leveling, isn't it? Because when you paint it on to, well, I mean, I don't know about other surfaces, but when I paint that onto PLA, it goes on quite a lot, but
Yes.
it self-levels itself.
But like, yeah.
It's like, I think, as we said like the other week, now I've got it, I don't think I could do without it.
Yeah, I've got quite a lot of things like that. Yeah. Oh.
Do you know what, Fleetwood? I was thinking that I'm not going to spoil anything. I'm not going to show you anything. But yeah, I was thinking about something along those lines. But what I might do is wait until it's completed at the end and then maybe have a little experiment with things. At the end of the day, if something doesn't quite come out right, just whack the part on the printer and replace it.
Just do it again. Right, I have got a little treat for you, I think.
Oh, really? How did that come out, Fleetwood? Fleetwood said he chromed some of his Lego.
Oh, that sounds brilliant. Right, I have found the video for the fertilizer, so I will attempt to show that to you. I'm sorry it's not very big, but it will be hard to see. Hopefully you get the gist of what it's doing. And I think there is actually an on-off switch for this, because it's not just permanently spreading what it's spreading. See it all spreading it? But when it stops or goes around the corner, it seems to stop spreading. So I think there is actually an on-off switch for it. I think. We haven't done any of these parts.
No, yeah, I'm not sure how that works. Yeah,
I mean, I'm pretty sure if I take that into work and demonstrate it, my boss won't be happy because she's going to have to sweep up all the bits and bobs. But yeah, so I love it. And if we can get everybody else building it, we can have our own annual tractor contests.
Yeah.
I've already planned it in my head. You know, we'll have pallets with we'll make little containers. We'll fill them up with water, and you've got to get them from A to B round an obstacle course, and you get points for time, and you get points for how much water you didn't spill, or points deducted for water spill. And we can have drag races, we can have slalom races.
And then we can have bonus points for the person that blows their tractor up with all the water.
Yeah, we can have. We'll have to make a prize for the most chromed tractor, just for Horlicks. Best use of chrome pens. There you go. How's that for content for an award? Right. Fleetwood's done his wheel caps on the VW Beetle and Camper. Excellent. I'm wondering whether to do some of my bus, but I don't want to go overboard with it.
I know it's difficult. It's one of those things. It's like, oh my god, it's amazing. You just want to do everything.
Yeah. When you got a new toy, you want to everything. You know, I want to chrome my air conditioning unit. You know, and everything, and my mobile phone case. I want to do it in chrome, but you know, there is such a thing as too much. So
you could write Penny down it in chrome.
I suppose I could, couldn't I? Yeah. Okay. Right. Anything else to cover?
No, I don't think so. I think maybe we should have called this show like Introduction to a New Project rather than Orrery Stage 7. But
it is Orrery. We're continuing with the Orrery, and we have done something. Unfortunately, this is obviously with part works, everything is. I mean, if this was a part work, they would already be bent for us, and we would just get on, and we'd probably get 2 or 3 of them. When you're doing things in this manner, it's inevitable there's going to be weeks where we're not going to do it. I think we had another week with the cogs, wasn't it? We only did one week, and then we did all the rest the next week.
The thing is, we weren't as prepared for the Orrery as we were the tractor. It was sort of
Yeah,
let's
exactly.
just get stuck in and see what happens.
Yeah. But then we're prepared for the tractor because we weren't prepared for the Orrery.
Yeah.
You know, we've learned from that mistake. We've taken it a step further. As I say, keep the link, guys. That'll be a permanent link. I'll just can I find it? Is it color? Where is it gone? Right. Yeah. Right, that's the link. Right, there we go. Right. So this is the link again for the tractor. By all means, keep looking at it. You'll see lots of bits that you really won't understand, and they are really for our benefit. I'll bring that up there as well, but you can't click on that link. I'll put that link in the description. I'll update the description later on, and I'll update the link for the benders. I'll also put those into next week's description as well. In fact, what I'll do is with all projects, I'll build the description up. So anything that, say, for example, we put a link in episode 1, we'll keep that in every single episode, but we'll keep adding to it. So yeah, Fleetwood J says, thanks Penny and Alex, good luck on your new project. I'm hooked and can't wait to see you start it.
Yeah, I know. I'm so looking forward to the first episode when we start, because I think without giving, I don't want to give them too much away, but I think in the first 3 episodes there's going to be a fair amount to do, isn't there, really?
Well, let's put it this way. We've actually practiced episode 1 without the electronics, and there isn't an awful lot to build, but the second you've built it, it's something, it's like, wow. And you can see, basically we're going to start off with a differential. You already know that because we've shown you the parts. So obviously, you know, with a differential, we need something to put the differential into, and then we need to put that into the chassis. You know, we all know that. We know that a motor is gonna move the differential, but you just put the differential holders in, and straight away you can see what's going to come from it. And the fact that we've done a little experiment where we've got parts that won't actually be shown on the finished model, we've done in a random color. I will just explain, actually, we've used a few colors. We've used silver, means print it in silver. Black obviously means print it in black. Where I've done the word color, it means print it in the color that you want your tractor. Yours, Horlicks, is going to come out in orange. So where it says color, he'll print in orange. I will print in, obviously, purple, because there is no other color in my house to use but purple. I was thinking about using red, because red tractor is the British farming mark. Another color I've used is scrap, and scrap basically means we don't think the parts are going to be on show. So I've used yellow for scrap, because I've got lots of it. I don't think I'm going to be using it, so it's something, but little 10-meter samples I could use. And with mine, it looks great, because the parts like the differential holder I've done in yellow, and we're going to screw that onto a black bit, so you've got the contrast. And I think but it'll all be hidden up in the end anyway. So yeah, that's it. But let's not get too excited about the tractor just yet, because we need to be excited about the Orrery. So yeah, so hopefully this will be a really well planned project. It is going to last about 6 months. Horlicks is already talking about the build after that. Should we say? Yeah, let's say he wants something spacey themed, which I like the idea of that, because we've done the Orrery, we'll be doing the tractor, so we do something spacey. Not sure what we're going to do yet, but I'm chucking ideas his way, but we've got 6 months to plan that.
Yeah.
So if anybody wants to throw any ideas, we'll consider them.
And the reason is, like, I basically my partner's into Star Trek and stuff, and I actually printed him the Enterprise, I think it was, on my partwork printer, and it came out really naff. And the other day he dropped it and it smashed into about 6 pieces because it wasn't a very good print. He liked it, but now we've got better technology and we've got more of an idea of stuff. I thought it was really nice. I wanted to do a little, it doesn't have to be a huge one, but I wanted to do a nice little project, maybe incorporate some electronics if possible. And then I can give it to Carl at the end of the build.
Yeah. Chris Davies has suggested a Millennium Falcon, Fleetwood J's Saturn rocket or lunar moon module. I like the sound of those. This is another reason why we're doing the tractor. When we started the Orrery, we thought it would take 6 to 8 weeks. So that obviously gives us 6 to 8 weeks to plan the next project. I personally, I don't blow my own trumpet, but I think for the time we've had, I think we've done quite a lot of planning. We've done all right. But because the tractor's going to take, well, I say I'm estimating it to be, 28 weeks, 26 weeks, 28 weeks. In reality, it will probably last longer than that because we don't always get as much done as we want to. But what that does mean is we've got 28 weeks to plan the next project. And the only problem we've got is that we can't keep our mouth shut, can we?
No.
So if we decide next week what the project's going to be, you'll find out the week after because we just can't keep a secret. But it means that this tractor should be a well-planned project, but I think the next project will be even better planned. We'll be able to plan it 14 times, perfecting it. But I mean, obviously, I don't know what Carl's really into, and I think we're kind of going to be building this for him, really.
Yeah, I mean, it was just an idea. It doesn't speak. He really likes Star Trek, so if there's any Star Trek themes, brilliant.
Yeah, I had a look at a few things. When you say Star Trek, are you talking about any specific Star Trek or any of the franchise?
Yeah, just any of the ships, or preferably a ship, or
so maybe if we can find a ship and then light it up,
maybe a little legs that come down, or I don't know.
Do you think we should try and get Arduino involved? Because we've not used Arduino yet, have we?
Possibly. Yeah.
Let's give it a few weeks into the tractor, because then we'll start to understand receivers and things. So we might be able to do something remote controlled, for example.
Yeah.
Or maybe design something. Space Knight, do you know what? I've seen that, Fleetwood, and I really want that. I do want to do that, but yeah, look, let's leave it like it is. It's midnight. I thought tonight was going to be a short show, actually. I'm always wrong on that one, aren't I? But you know me, when I'm not working a Sunday, I'm not in a rush. I don't think you're in a rush either, are you, when it's on a Saturday night?
No.
So leave the show as it is. We'll be doing pipe bending next week, and the planets that we were going to look at this week, we'll look at next week. And yeah, hopefully the week after we'll hopefully, this is a rough plan, not definite. We could be looking at doing the Earth bits, with the moon and stuff. And then probably finish it off with the rings, and then hopefully it's finished. So, and then it will be, I don't know what mine's going to come out like. I won't say losing faith, but it's not going as well as I wanted it to. But I fixed some of the few problems, haven't I? So I might fix it. I thought I'd glued the whole thing together at one point. I think I'd gone a little bit too much with the glue, and the thing was just stuck solid. And I managed to get it all sorted out. I did have to snap one of the rods and then redo it, but you know, yeah, I think we're going to get there. Right. So I'm going to say my goodbyes, and I'm going to leave Horlicks to say his, and then we will hopefully see you all next week. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and thank you for making this a great stream.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, what Penny said. Thank you very much, and yeah, see you all next week for some pipe bending, rod bending.
So you've polished your rods. Now you're going to be bending your rods.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am on a sugar high now. Right. Take care, guys. We'll see you all next week. Love you all as always.
Yeah. Bye.